Right. Last time, there was a bit of fallout from what happened in Mother Argyle land. You were paid and you went on a shopping spree. You visited Chris's mother's coven briefly, and then left town to come to your birthplace, only to find it now occupied by a group of people who are a bit weird.
Just a bit.
You witnessed a sermon, or more accurately, a yelling, and Chris had a brief discussion with an old fella in the main hall.
Okay.
No one is expecting anything of you at this point. They're just kind of going about their day, making a living in the agrarian way. Apart from that one guy that Tulip fucked up, who is currently receiving a small amount of medical care.
Okay. You know what?
Only slightly.
He's got like ice on his head. Well, he's got something cold on his head. They probably don't have much ice. You did fuck him up. He didn't even land a hit on you.
Wait, but you...
That's a good thing. Probably. It shows
He
competence.
didn't break anything, probably.
Oh my god.
Just slightly bruised and battered.
Yeah.
And
Well, he has to go home to his wife and be like, okay, like, I know you have questions, but hear me out.
Hear me out. A really big lady came to town and she worked me over.
And she gave me death by snoo.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And then his wife was like, "God damn it, Stan!"
No!
Not another one.
not another death by snoo, Stan.
This is the
Not
third one.
again.
Stupid. God damn it. God damn it,
Yeah.
Stanford.
Oh, Tulip's got Stans all over this country.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And they're all
Alright.
terrified.
So the crowd is dispersed.
Yes.
Okay.
They're working with a bit more vigor, perhaps, than they were before.
Interesting. B is going to distance herself from the square for a little bit. She doesn't. She seems a little uncomfortable with what she heard in the sermon. Also being in front of the guy as he was like
Praying
spitting
spittle.
everywhere. Yes. Doing his best llama impersonation.
The tower over there is very much ruined.
Is it okay, so how ruined is ruined? Like has it collapsed? Has it
It used to stand probably 3 or 4 stories tall.
Okay.
A good story or two above the rest of the buildings. Now it's like a
story and a half?
tops.
okay?
There's
got it.
no roof. It's open to the elements. There's really nothing left of it but a stump.
Got it.
And even that stump isn't complete. There's entire gaps in the wall.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, for Chris's part, he wants to go out into the woods and see if the shrine is still fucked up. Like it was spewing ichor the last time we saw it, which granted was a long time ago. But that's where I want to
Yeah.
go, which I think is this way.
It is
Yeah.
probably a good idea to check on to see if they actually defiled it too, because
Mm.
don't see.
So I guess I'll take a look at the tower while I'm here. Is there anything here, or is it just like rubble?
Do a perception for me.
Oh, boy!
Oh boy, here we go whiffing again.
Here we go. Oh, okay. Boom! Headshot from Zigger.
I'll join the party.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot left, but rotted wood and fractured stone.
Did we?
Go on.
Did we ever discover a secret cellar
You
in the time where we snuck in and did mischief, if that ever happened?
there was a cellar, but you can see through the floorboards now, and it is packed with dirt.
Mm.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Well,
The
clearly they didn't.
implications of knowing what his cellar looks like because we knew him as children.
Hey, it was a, I don't know, maybe a
Everything
choice.
was a very wholesome relationship.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. He was a very nice, if grumpy person, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, do we remember what was in his cellar for the purposes of like, do we perhaps want to dig? Or do we think that there wouldn't be any value to that?
It was a secure space before. You know that much. It's where he kept the more important to keep safe items that he had in his possession. But it would be surprising if they were still there, I would think.
B asks
Actually,
one of the
detect
others.
magic.
Yep, there we go.
Zigga's just going to use detect magic.
Sure. You fail to find anything.
Okay.
A shame.
Is that because it doesn't go through the ground, or is it because there's nothing there? I don't remember if it can go through the ground.
Oh god, did we make a ruling on that? Does the text say? I may be throwing together a map real quick.
Yeah, you send out a pulse. 30-foot emanation. I don't know. It's your decision, I think.
Okay. Let's say it does go through non-shielded material, shall we say, to give me an out.
Mm-hmm.
You would expect to be able to detect anything, really.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything. Okay.
Not
So
really,
yeah,
no.
there's nothing down there.
But Chris is gonna shrug and start moving towards the forest at this point.
Nah, the church probably got to it.
Okay. I guess we're
Yeah.
just into the woods.
B
But
will
the
lay her
woods-
hand on the wall briefly and close her eyes, and then follow after the others.
Okay. Give me just a second. So the path out is, comparatively speaking, very overgrown. It doesn't look like anyone's been down here for a while. It doesn't look like these people have an interest in going in this direction. It's not insurmountable, but it's not, like, easy.
Would we be able to cut through it?
Oh yeah, for sure. The biggest barrier is me having to upload a map real quick.
Fair enough.
Because I forgot you wanted to do this, and I should have
Tulip,
really
cut
remembered.
through time and space,
Cut through
and also
time
the
and space for me while I figure out why the grid doesn't line up.
Okay.
create a rift in the division between maps.
Okay, somebody
We
bless
jumped up
the
in
Pyramid
before it,
from
but-
hell and I'll do it. I needed it top volume.
Oh, this was a map that I did all fucky. That was it. Oh, jeez. This was before I standardized how I was doing things, because it's the old one but modified.
Mm,
This is tech debt I've got right here. There
Tech
we
debt.
go. Now it lines up. Okay, and then we want Tulip, and we want B. Oh my god, you're huge because I put you on the wrong layer. We want Tulip, and we want B, and we want Zigga, and we want Chris, and we want everyone to be present on this layer. It still doesn't quite line up, but we're gonna have to deal with it. We're
That's
doing it
okay.
live.
there is a wriggling sense of unease, like things are not quite right.
Oh yeah. Everything's a little out of whack.
I like the text.
What?
The in the chat.
Oh, what? Yeah, what I posted.
Oh,
Okay. Are there any more of the black crystals around, or does it look fairly normal?
It looks fairly normal here. It's a lot more overgrown than you remember. Nature's definitely reclaiming it.
Yeah, no
Um,
bridges left.
No bridges left. No one was around to maintain them after what happened.
Yeah.
The paths are they're still kind of visible as like a rut in the ground, but for the most part they're grown over.
Hmm.
I don't recall
Okay.
what was the clearing with the dogs. What was that? Was that just a natural clearing?
Yes.
Okay, there wasn't anything
Um,
of significance there.
I mean, there was a mushroom ring,
Hmm.
so it's hard to say if that was significant or not, but there's a good chance that's gone. So
Mushrooms tend not to last a decade. I
yes, especially when there is a life-destroying wave
think.
that
Yeah,
comes.
life-destroying
But
waves do tend to destroy most life.
Yeah.
It didn't get out this far though.
Well,
Okay. Well,
You know, the destruction might have wrapped around the protective bubble that our parents created, and then Wizard Man,
Wizard man.
Wizard Man
man who
Angstrom.
is a wizard.
was a wizard.
Be please.
He might
Jeez.
still be a wizard. You don't know. He was a wizard.
Oh
He
yeah,
could
there's a.
do things.
Would that make him a lich at this point?
Yeah, well,
Probably.
maybe.
yeah,
I forgot
the
the big old river. There's no thing anymore.
No,
You wanna
time has eroded the bridges, and even that log that you went across last
You want to try
time
tripping again?
is gone.
You want to
Can
try
I-
tripping into the water again?
Can I yeet
I mean,
them
if-
across the river?
Can
If
you
it's not that deep, I'll just wade across.
can you yeet who across the river?
Like any of them.
You can try.
You can probably yeet Chris.
Chris is yeeted himself. He is yoked.
You can yeet him in, like halfway across the river.
If you
Like
would like
he's
to, if you would like to try and yeet someone, please roll athletics.
B, you want to get yeeted?
She looks at the how. Let's see, how far is this? This is like
It's like 10, 15 foot.
can we do? And she's gonna suggest, can we do like a springboard thing instead, where B kind of like stands on Tulip's hands, and Tulip throws, and B like jumps
I
Like a
mean,
cheer-
sure.
like a cheerleader thing.
Yeah, sure. I think that's still athletics, right, Tom?
Yeah,
That is athletics for both of you. Yes.
perfect. I'm going to take 10 on my athletics, which is 17.
You're gonna assurance it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you make it pretty handily.
Hey,
It's a bit slippy landing on the other side, but you do land mostly clear of the bank, and without
She
like
land-
sliding on your face and full scorpioning over.
I imagine she lands with like a T pose, like how some
Wait, she
acrobats
lands.
do. But
Oh, like she just T poses through the air, revolving, and just donk.
no,
on
no,
the
no. Like
ground.
the T comes out at the end, like as
Sure.
a finisher.
Sure.
But she probably like sinks into the mud a little bit.
See, I thought
Just like
you might go for a more classic like 3-point landing.
Nobody in this family has any class.
It's like it's a pencil dive into the mud.
Sure.
The feet
Yes.
go in a little, then anchor B briefly
Yes.
upon landing.
Does Zigga want to get yeeted?
yeah, Zigga was actually going to suggest the same thing as what B ended up
Yeah.
suggesting.
Go for it. Athletics for both.
Was I just
That-
able to wade across?
Yeah,
Do
you're
I-
wet, but you're fine.
I pressed the digitation it off.
I can't roll acrobatics.
Like, why can't you roll?
No, I was going to say I can't roll acrobatics to jump.
It's athletics to jump. Sorry,
Oh.
long and high jump are both governed by athletics.
What in the world do you use acrobatics for other than just balancing?
Balance,
it's-
squeezing.
Balance,
Parkour.
squeeze, tumble, maneuver in flight. It's stuff that requires grace, not stuff that requires energy.
landing would be acrobatics if we were landing on some poor
Yes.
terrain.
That would be as an extension of balance, basically, yeah. But yeah, Zigga makes it over quite handily.
Cool.
Tulip's hands are a bit slippy and muddy from Bee's feet, but it all works out.
Cool. I guess Tulip just Terminators her way across.
Sure. Like Principal Skinner chasing Bart in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the river still flowing normally?
Yes.
Okay.
Give or take, yeah.
Okay. So no like motorboat waves like across a calm lake kind of thing.
No, there's no one like bending down and going blah, 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 into the river or anything.
I didn't mean that. I meant like, you know how like a motorboat creates like a wake.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if it's a river, it doesn't do that.
I mean,
guess,
yeah,
but-
there is the yeah. Tulip and Chris have made a bit of a wake as they went across. They didn't like go into it and it was completely ignoring them.
I mean, that's true. Yeah.
It's
All right.
it's normal water acting like normal water as far as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
At least as far as you can tell without rolling any dice.
I examined the water for elementals. Let's see. Shrine. Destroyed or destroyed, overgrown, vandalized. What's
The housing structure looks just overgrown, left to the elements and unprotected. The statue inside that comprised the actual shrine bit of it seems to have been removed.
Oh, they took out the statue. And there's no sign of it anywhere here?
Not
If
that
we
you can
look
see.
around.
There's an area on the ground where it stood, but it is no longer there.
Interesting. And B is going to comment, you know, they seem like nice people and all, but I'm getting the feeling that this is kind of
This is a cult. This is a cult. Calling it
it-
out.
it is a little culty, she admits. I mean, I'm not, you know, part of the church, and I'm all for, you know, other faiths, but
Actually, Tulip's kind of wondering if that crystal could replace the finger that got burned off. It's probably a really bad idea to test, but you know. I need that finger.
Oh,
I
yeah, the-
forget your missing finger.
Yeah, me too.
the death burning. We can get like a mechanical finger for you.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's probably the smarter move.
So that's fun move.
Wow. I don't know.
Wow.
B likes Tulip. B doesn't want Tulip to fall to poor influences like cults and
Or Chris.
Chris. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, Chris hasn't
the-
started his own cult yet, so
The best thing is that Zigga is the worst influence because Zigga's a straight up conspiracy theorist.
When
I
has
know.
Chris been a bad influence?
Zigga's like 2 bad lunches away from being a QAnon guy.
I mean, it's more like you don't want to become like this guy. She points at Chris.
Well, here it's more like, okay, Tulip's gonna walk over and give Chris a hug. It's like you're like Cabot. You're a grumpy cat personified as a man.
You've
Like,
still
we
got
just
several.
make fun of- yeah, we're just making fun of you because we love you, but you are like the grumpiest man alive.
Oh no.
I think you've still got a couple decades in you before you get anywhere near that. B says to Tulip.
Yeah, I hope so.
Could you all roll perception, please?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
God. Aw, beans.
Hey,
14 Claw? Oh, Chris ruined it.
Oh,
Woo!
Chris is always ruining everything. I swear.
oh my God. Beans.
Chris and Zigga, could you please roll nature?
Oh.
2-card check. Oh, 14 club. He's
14,
back.
yeah, you're back.
Uh,
Oh my word, Zigger. Chris and Zigger notice that it's quite quiet out here. Not like dead quiet. That you can hear birds and rustling and stuff, but it's quieter than you'd expect.
hmm.
You know what I just realized? And I also just realized that it's also way inappropriate to thrust upon the GM. But when we were kids, we never actually investigated where the mushroom trail came from.
Correct.
That's true. It was like a chain, like a daisy chain, pretty much, right?
There was
Yep.
a path of mushrooms, yes.
And it was, where was the other end leading? Was it leading like?
It was going that
way?
way. Yeah, deeper
I
into
see this opening now. Fuck.
deeper into the
There we go.
forest.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was getting through saying is I was prefacing the fact that you didn't have this prepared means that this is almost certainly a red herring.
In full disclosure, like 3 months after the fact, it was a red herring at the time.
Okay. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah. Well, I mean, currently.
We could still explore it. I mean, we're out here already, and we're on the right side of the river for it.
You are on the right side of the river for it.
And it doesn't have to have a map. It's just,
It will
you know.
become entirely theatre of the mind if you choose to, but you
There we
can
go.
explore it.
Let's see. Are these things? Let's see. Eliminate. Okay. B is going to ask Chris to step back a bit. She's going to use one of her new spells for the first time on a. So casting it at the shrine area, even though there's no statue anymore, so this is kind of iffy. But
Yeah. Oh shit! You've got a necromonger spell. You're going evil.
yes, that is what I'm doing. It rots the undergrowth away.
Okay.
Basically, trying to find an easier way to clean up the shrine. I know you won't be able to change it, but
Oh. Oh. Okay. Yes. It does start to wither a little. And it kind of starts turning black and a little goopy and dribbles away.
okay.
It almost kind of looks worse than it was when it was overgrown, if I'm honest.
Oh well.
Whether that's just an aesthetic thing or not, but rather than being covered in overgrown plants, it's now covered in rotted plants.
We'll
He's
just
going
wash them
to-
away with create water. Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna do a bit of power. Oh my god, it's Power Wash Simulator.
Is that a cantrip?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, you wash a bunch of it away. It's still a bit overgrown. The woodier, more fibrous plants have held up quite well against the blighting.
Sure.
But
Sure.
it does look tidier now.
I've got my Power Wash Simulator in your Pathfinder campaign. All right, well, that looks that looks better. That's fine. And if we just find the statue now, that'd be great.
Actually, as big as the statue is, do we see a trail where it was led away?
Drag.
Like, if it was dragged?
Perception?
Just realized a lot of the things I got last session in the shopping trip and level up can be relevant.
With a 21, you do not see any particular ruts in the ground that might indicate that statue was dragged away. You also don't know how long ago it was removed.
That's fair.
If it was removed a year ago, you probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
If it was removed 10 years ago by the church, then yeah, you definitely wouldn't.
Mm.
But if it was removed like 3 months ago by the villagers, then we might have.
You might
Especially
have,
if it's
yes.
dragged along the ground. Yeah.
This is true. As it stands, you do not see anything.
Okay.
Is the
Um,
from when we lived here, was the climate fairly rainy or like pretty frequently rainy?
Yes, quite rainy. It was like you never really had like drizzle. It was either on or off, really.
Nice. So
Uh,
there's a good chance that if it was a little while ago, like the soil got evened out by the rain.
Yeah, by rain, by the movement of. If it was more than like a year and a half ago, just by plants growing near it and
Yeah, yeah.
displacing.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't see anything else to do here.
No,
Yeah.
I
Everything tomorrow
suppose
was a
not.
bust. So unless we want to investigate more into this, but actually, I mean, we might want to have an in-character conversation about why we're able to find this place
You should
and what does that mean.
definitely have an in-character conversation about why you're able to find this place.
Because they were hidden from. I mean, the inn was hidden from those other people we saw on the road. Uh, if I can't imagine that. I mean, I don't know if the church has eyes on this place specifically. Probably not like super frequently, but it would be kind of odd that if nobody noticed these people gathering here, it
Well,
might just not have been long enough. But
yeah, well, possibly, but also, I mean, it's been almost a year. I think the first
yeah,
person came like 8 months ago or something like that.
right.
So it it might have something to do with um, the glamour effect or something like that. Is the fact that you can't see it, but also it might have some sort of like minor mental compulsion too, where it's like you can't. It's not like you could outright just straight up like memory hole it from existence, but maybe it has something like if you're not actively thinking about it, it just never comes up in your mind to think about. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's out of character. That's an anti-mimetic property.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, possibly. We can't really. I don't think we can easily test that out because, well, all of us aren't affected. But it being hidden sounds pretty plausible, given again the inn. So, I mean,
I don't know if we should necessarily reveal this place to the church yet, because we don't. These people haven't done anything to us, and although obviously we have a lot of disconcertments between like what they represent in relation to what we experience, they haven't actually done anything hostile to us, and they may not be bad actors at all. You know.
mhm. uh, B agrees with that. Although I do think, I mean, obviously now that we've found out, we should keep them in mind when if we find anything else out about these crystals. If it turns out that uh, there's something, she looks for the right word, and she settles on nefarious at work here. Uh, I don't think we can just ignore their existence at that point. Now, I'm not saying we do anything ourselves, but
Yeah, I mean, if we had been able to smother Mother Argyle out of the city, uh, we actually have the perfect place for her to go. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
I think she was a bit too far gone.
Mm, it's impossible to know. Like it really is. Like if she was just experienced like a temporary trauma, um, from being body swapped, essentially, and all that kind of stuff, and like we don't know that we didn't know enough about the situation to even make a uh, understandable guess.
What does
What
Tulip
Okay.
think about this?
Tulip doesn't really know what to think about this, to be honest. She's just kind of surveying at this point.
It's very much one of those trying to put together a 500-piece puzzle with only 37 pieces.
B will comment that if it is not too difficult, we may want to investigate to see if there's any other sign of those masked people being involved here. Not that there was anything explicit, but they did seem to be. I mean, Mother Argyle was connected with them, and the crystals connect Mother Argyle in this place. So it's possible that I just don't want it to be that they're trying to start something here too.
Hmm. Did we decide against going down this path over here? This.
Yeah, we can explore it, I think.
Yeah, we didn't I mean, we could explore it while we're talking, since it's all theater of the mind anyway.
Yeah.
We could just
like-
say we take the path while we're talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Take a trek through the woods.
the guy in the guild hall said that everyone who can find this place has been affected by the crystal somehow.
Right. And
So
I'm
that
quite
would imply that we have been affected by the crystal somehow.
right. And we haven't been affected physically that any of us are aware of, as far as we know. So it either has to do with our childhood, instance, or it has to do with the Mother Argyle situation.
A proximity thing, maybe.
Or maybe it's a knowledge thing, like the fact that we know of the existence of it allows us to
That would be pretty cool. The entire thing has,
Know of
has
the existence of what?
the crystals.
what we're calling obsidian,
I mean, the church know about it.
right? Which
So
means
that would mean they would be able to
potentially-
find the place.
Yeah, I mean it could be some sort of Lovecraftian knowledge of the entity of Mixu.
That is also mimetic,
Yes,
just the other way.
that would be an interesting interaction. Hopefully, we're not physically affected. And she looks at Chris and says, "I know you were doing that whole like tracking thing, but from now that we kind of know, it might be best not to touch it directly from now on. If you were still doing that."
I haven't done that in quite a while.
Mhm.
Not since we left, whatever it was called.
Right, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, if we can, I guess I'm suggesting we should maybe investigate. I think the preacher is kind of suspicious, to be honest, or at least more heavily influenced. Don't know if it's just what he's like, or if there's something more than that.
Well, clearly the two standouts are going to be the preacher and the old
elder.
man.
Yeah. What was his name again? 'Cause-
I
Good
don't
question.
recall.
Are
I
you
don't
asking
remember.
me or are you asking the players?
I'm asking you.
The preacher was called Saint Chauster, and
Chauster?
the old man in the hall was called Meister Garrett.
Garrett, right? Elder
Wait.
Garrett.
You didn't say master earlier. You said moister.
Meister.
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 M-A-E in this case.
Oh, okay, sure.
Alright.
Yeah. I think they're
All right.
just different spellings of the same thing, though.
Yeah, I believe so.
So chowder and moister. Got it.
I mean, if you want to interpret it that way.
If you
I don't
really
think
want to
anyone's
get
get-
on their bad side very quickly.
We don't have to call them that to their faces, although something might slip at some point. We can just, think that. And if they can mind read, then we know that they're doing something. Because you can't just normally mind read people.
I mean, it doesn't take much. Let's be honest. That's like a level 1 ability.
Yeah, but that still means they're casting something on us.
True. But they are also named NPCs, so they're probably
It's not
they're probably
unusual.
up to something.
We
Let's
don't
be
know that.
honest.
Yeah, that's true, but we don't know that in character. Okay, well, I mean, if we follow this path, do we run across any sign of mushrooms or anything unusual on this path?
Roll me a perception or a nature, whichever you would prefer.
Let's go.
5.
Boom.
Oh shit.
Nope. I perceive the trees.
Yes, you are literally missing the forest for the trees.
Oh, we're all doing percent. Okay. Oop. Yeah.
Tulip
I
2
perceive
is...
three.
Tulip and B are just distracted by the wonders of nature. They're just...
They are quite wonderful.
This is bringing in waves of nostalgia of the hours, the days you spent exploring these woods as a child.
This is a ballistic coping mechanism. It's like nothing's wrong. It's all just
Yes.
trees.
Yes, you are huffing copium at an industrial rate.
That's a new one.
Zigger and Chris, you do see mushrooms. And even some of the ones that look kind of similar to the weird ones that were out and about that day, but they're all in kind of normal, like, ring formations, or just, like, growing out of the base of a tree. There's no, like,
Sure.
trails of them going in weird directions.
Okay. Is the artificial path of cleared undergrowth from the mushroom formation, does it continue onwards?
Oh, there isn't one.
So what was represented on the map, was that not there at all, or is that not is it only there in that one spot and then it immediately clears way to like regular undergrowth?
Yeah, it's only really there in one spot. It's not grown up to the point where it's impossible to move through. You're not in a jungle or anything. But you can move through the woods with relative ease, but you aren't following a path.
Okay. I don't think there's any point to staying out here necessarily.
Sure, yeah. So we have that in character conversation while we're wandering around here. We finish the conversation, and I guess we finish up here. Slowly. B will mention. I don't know about you guys, but do you, assuming we're not leaving today, do you want to stay in town, or she looks a little wary still.
I think I'd prefer to camp out here, to be honest, because if they're doing weird shit, then we'd at least be in a better position to see it happening.
Honestly, I think I'd prefer to stay in town if there's any place to stay, and just be on alert, because I'm kind of curious to see if they act differently at any different, like, a point of time during the day.
I see.
You know, like, and besides, if they want to fuck with us, they know the area as well. They've been here for 8 months or what, or whatever. They can
Right.
still fuck with us if we're camped out. We might as well
Yeah,
camp out close to town and keep an eye on them.
that's true. I guess we can ask them if they've got any extra places to stay for guests.
They'll probably refer to us to the tavern.
Yeah, I get. How far is the tavern from Blacksold?
Couple hours walk.
Okay, so it is kind of distant.
A little bit, yeah.
So I guess we head back to town.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like it.
You'll need to go
Okay.
over the river again.
Yeah.
I wade through and prestidigitation myself. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Ever the pragmatist.
Yeah.
Am I eating again, or are we just
We
waiting?
can practice our circus routine
Alright.
for when we need to make
Yeah,
money on the
go
run.
Go on.
Yeah,
Oh,
buddy!
Even better, I do.
You have
B,
been
B,
catapulted.
B, I need yours.
No, I'm assured sing it.
Oh, of course you are. Yes, yes.
That's what I got it for. No
Yes.
failure on this.
No
on-
failure. Yeah.
No failure on these things.
Was like just jumping by himself.
Well, I was gonna use your help.
Oh,
I
okay.
figure it was just taking my roll with an advantage or something like that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Okay. Ziggs across. Is Tulip gonna Terminator through?
Yep.
Yeah, Tulip don't give a shit.
I
Nope.
think we need to work on our routine a little bit.
You should
but
try not to become more like Chris. Acts exactly like Chris for crossing the river. Lol.
So, this is potentially a bad idea, but I want to get y'all's feedback on it.
Okay.
What if we just ask to have an audience with Master Garrett or Mr. Meister Garrett?
Meister.
It's an odd word. And just be point blank about the fact that we are apparently not physically affected, and we're wondering why we're able to be here.
Um,
I vote
I
we
just
have
get-
that conversation roughly over there,
Well,
and he
yeah,
points
yeah,
at the
I'm a-
exit.
I mean, obviously that is a turning point conversation. Like, we can't go back from that.
mhm.
But I'm curious y'all's thought process as to whether or not that would be a fruitful conversation or not.
I think if we're trying to go that route, we should try to figure out what their opinions of non-affected people are first. Like we know that they are not friends with the church, but we don't know how they feel about unaffected people in general. Last thing I think we should do is unintentionally draw ire on ourselves while we're still in the middle of town with a bunch of people who may or may not be fanatical.
Well,
'Cause that seems-
Tulip's already more or less neutralized one of them, so I mean that's one less down.
Well, it's not so much them. I mean, we don't know if they have any special abilities that maybe the
I'm
crystals
just being
grant.
smart aleck.
Yeah. But she also says, but I'm more worried about having to deal with them violently.
There's 24 of them. Tulip's already fucking killed one of them. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I have not. His pride, baby, but not him.
It's a little bruised.
Okay,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
What is
I
a
think,
weird crystal man without his pride?
I think that we could probably stand to have a guarded conversation with Meister Garrett, and then weigh out our decision as to whether or not we want to have the more in-depth conversation.
Sure. I mean, I'm just saying that we should probably gauge whether we're going to be met with like an armed.
Well, like, during the speech by Chauster, I think you said his name was.
Chauster, yes. I'll put it
Yeah.
in chat so you can see it.
He never said anything with the effect of converting regular people, correct? Like he never made any overtures to that. I would have assumed you would have told us specifically about that if we.
No, there were mentions of accepting all brethren who will come, but nothing so far as going out and proselytizing.
It feels like this crystal thing is more self-converting. If that it's clear what I mean by that, like it's just there is some process through which people get infected by this crystal thing, and that's their conversion.
Yeah.
Because there may be a mental aspect to that as well if they're being like drawn to this location. Because otherwise, it doesn't seem like they have like a huge information network that can reach out to people when they get infected.
No.
So there's probably something.
You can see the people working in the distance, and they really are not paying you any mind. Just getting on with their day.
So what time of day is it?
Let's say mid-afternoon.
Okay, so we still have several hours before we want to head back to the tavern. If we go back to the tavern, or we can try to camp out here, either in a house or, somewhere like out in a field or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone else? Did anyone else have feedback on the? Did anyone else? That's right.
Oh my god, guys, please. One at a time. Not 0 at a time, 1 at a time.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say if we actually want to do extra grim, we could camp out near our parents' graves.
just sleep on top of your respective
That,
parents'
that's
graves.
a little grim.
That's goth as fuck, and I don't like it.
I was gonna ask if Chris or Tulip had any input on conversing with Meister Garrett.
I mean, I already did. I already spoke to the guy.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Zigga's talking about another conversation with the guy, where we reveal more, essentially.
Tulip's only opinion is that you shouldn't let her do any talking. That's about all she thinks about this right now.
I wonder if we can specifically bring up some sort of conversation about Mother Argyle and run that by Meister Garrett.
As long as we don't bring up our involvement in killing her, I think that may be a bad idea. I mean, or rather, if I think bringing up the fact that we were involved in her death would be a bad idea. Otherwise, possibly, I don't know if they would know, because it seems like that was a very specific kind of brand of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to tell them that we aren't blessed in whatever way. That seems like a bad idea. I mean, if nothing else, that'll tell them there's a hole in their security, and we are that hole. So, don't know if they'd
probably intruders.
really be happy with us at that point.
Yeah, we would probably be intruders. Maybe we could ask about the masked folks. I don't think there's anything necessarily too strange about that, although it's not strictly related
That we're aware of.
that we're aware of.
There's so many questions that could be immediately asked in the conversation about these topics that we won't have immediately good answers to. And I'm concerned about that.
I would say if we're gonna have a conversation with the guy, we shouldn't reveal too much of anything that would potentially make us label us as outsiders. I doubt they're going to be willing to talk much or even may react badly if they found that out. So maybe ask as much as we can without breaching that.
Well, I mean, if we're looking for purely if we're looking to purely prompt dialogue rather than reveal too much information ourselves, we could probably talk to both of them at the same time, and it sounds like Saint Choister likes to talk. We could probably just get him talking, and he might reveal a whole bunch to us.
That is true.
And my kiddo is crying for some reason, so I'm gonna go AFK for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're particularly worried, we could always just bunker down for the night, and I can augur it tomorrow.
Well, I mean, we have all afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to prepare the spell.
Whatever the case, I think we have to ask them about accommodations, so we might as well do that part.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I imagine Zigga may want to be present for the conversation, but if maybe we can get things started a little bit.
Yeah. What's Chris? What is Chris doing?
Nothing in particular.
Probably moving with arrow keys.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
yeah.
My life has changed.
You can do it like an RPG dungeon crawl.
We're playing Undertale now, boys.
Oh, it looks like Zigga's back. Or unless
No,
you're dragging it.
I'm dragging him around.
Okay. Sure.
I'm actually back. I was moving most of that.
No, come back.
You weren't. You were at the end there, but I moved you from the entrance.
No. I was doing that too.
Oh, okay. Well,
It must have happened so close to simultaneously that
Yeah.
you didn't notice.
must have.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris briefly turns into Esme and climbs all over the roof, and then comes back down again.
Wow, that's a callback.
It's not
powerful.
wrong.
She's an interdimensional monster. She's too powerful.
Oh no.
Too powerful. All right, well, I think I don't know how much you heard, Mag, but we were just gonna go ask about accommodations.
Yeah, no. I heard most of everything.
Okay, sure.
I did hear everything. I was my headset was
You had
still
your
on.
okay, got it. So then, yeah, let's
Okay. So you enter the main hall,
Mhm.
and Garrett is sat in his chair, and Chauster is sat at the head of one of the tables in front of it. They aren't really talking to each other, but they seem pretty comfortable in each other's presence.
a long time relationship. Is Chorster working on something potentially?
He does appear to have a book and some writing implements in front of him.
Okay, got it. B will step in and say, "Excuse me.
Yes.
We just came back from a little walk in the woods. We were wondering if there was any open temporary accommodation in the village that we might be able to use for maybe a day or two, kind of thing."
My. He looks at Chris specifically with his shiny black round eyes.
What? Wait, what?
Garrett?
Chorster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's looking at. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying that Chris had shiny black
No.
round eyes.
No,
What
Garrett
the
does.
fuck?
No, Garrett
Yeah,
does.
go. Chris has Tabit round his shoulders again, and is just kind of looking nonchalantly around the room. He turns as like, yeah.
Are all of your friends so rude as to demand accommodation without introducing themselves?
Well, no. Two of us
Uh,
haven't talked yet. 3 of us haven't even talked yet.
no, Chris wanders further into the room. And is like, I don't know about demand. She was asking if it was there. This is B, my sister.
A pleasure.
For what it's worth, I do apologize. It's nice to meet you. I think Maestro Garrett,
Meister
Meister.
Garrett. yes.
Meister.
Why is this word so hard for you guys?
It is a very
I keep
unusual
think-
word in the English
I keep
language.
thinking Maestro because it's the one I see with the AE more often.
Yeah. It's,
So that's just-
it's another word that essentially means the same thing, but that one is normally
Yes.
specifically for musicians.
Yes. I just mentally associated it at this point.
Yes. He nods to B and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I am Meister Garrett."
Ziga will also introduce himself, and
Yeah, Tulip will do the same.
He will nod to both of you in turn. You are welcome to stay in our little commune, but the only place we have for visitors to sleep is within this hall itself. The houses are a private space for our people.
Fair enough.
B looks at the others. I don't want to impose too much. We do have tents and the like for traveling. Would it maybe be better if we just stayed relatively close to the village during our stay and did that instead?
If you don't disturb our people, their peace, or their work, then you're welcome to stay wherever you wish.
So, out of character, Tom,
Yes.
do I get the impression this man is being a lot shorter with B than he was with me when I first walked in here?
Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It is possible it's the lack of introduction thing because that was an oversight from me. But you never know. Maybe there's something else.
okay. Ziga will wander over to Chorster. I can't remember his title.
Oh, why,
Costa.
how have I
Kathy.
made how have I made two names that are so difficult for everyone?
Well, Chorster is also an incredibly bizarre name.
Chorster.
Saint Choister. Okay.
Chorster. Chorster.
It's two syllables.
Yeah, but it's just a weird word.
Your
and
name
after-
is Zigger.
Yeah, but you can pronounce Zigga very easily.
Can we call him Crystal Lips?
Why isn't it just why didn't you make Worcestershire? Why isn't he called Saint Worcestershire? Just to confuse the
Yeah.
ever-loving shit
Yeah.
out of everyone.
I'll make the next
Chowder.
one called Bister.
I'm gonna call him Chowder.
Because that's the Bister's a hell of a one. Bicester.
May I find out? May I have a seat? And if he says yes, then I'll ask him like, may I ask what you're working on?
He nods to you but doesn't answer your question. And Garrett leans over towards you a little and murmurs, St. Chauster prefers only to speak when he feels it is necessary. His blessing
Oh.
makes it quite painful for him.
That makes
Oh.
sense. Yeah.
Well, when I asked if he doesn't mind, may I ask what he's working on? Did it look like he was receptive to me looking at it?
It wasn't like hiding it like you were trying to cheat on a test or anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll observe it if he lets me.
Yeah, it mostly seems to be a treatise on some detail of theological matters.
Specifically as it pertains to their situation, or is it just more of a generic religious text?
A bit more generic, like semi-religious, semi-philosophical, how like the belief system fits in with society as a whole.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
The work of what you presume to be a learned man, certainly.
yeah.
Does it actually like seem to physically injure the guy to speak, like from earlier? Like was he, or was it just like cracked lips, the equivalent of? Because we saw him bleeding.
It was like cracked lips turned up to 11 and also made out of rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, it probably was like actually quite physically painful at the moment. In the moment.
Mhm.
So it's reasonable to expect that he wouldn't want to spare words where words
Unnecessarily,
weren't
yeah.
needed.
Does it look like so were there, I'm guessing there were probably like visible cracks at the time. Does it look like it's mended by now?
It's not actively leaking anymore, but
Okay.
it is very much more cracked than anyone else's blessing that you have seen.
I see. Okay. So it's still broken.
Mm.
Takes a while. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Is there anything else we can help you with?
We had a whole bunch of questions. If you don't mind us.
I'm always willing to hear the word of the blessed.
Well, one thing in particular was really weighing on us. We've had a number of interactions with a strange figure in a mask, and curious if that's something that y'all are familiar with.
When did you last see them?
In I forget the name of the town, but the name of the town.
Go
know
on,
what I'm
you
saying.
can do it. You can do it. Remember.
Give me the map.
Give me the map. I need the map.
It's Shawby.
Chorby. Okay. Shawby.
Shawby, yeah.
Shawby.
Shawby, yes.
Yeah.
There are a number of us who are less well disposed to their blessings.
Are these those figures?
That is one of the figures, yes.
Okay, because yeah, they were very enigmatic, and we didn't really understand what to make of them. We've tried actively pursuing one, we tried passively pursuing one, we tried ignoring them altogether, and every single time that they would seem to get the upper hand and make fools out of us almost.
It is all a
Um,
big game to them.
So are they a splinter faction of your flock here?
Oh, they aren't a faction, they are a one.
It's
Can
like
you
one
clarify
individual.
what you mean?
There is one person running around in a cape and a mask thinking everything is so very funny when they cause mayhem and havoc amongst civilized folk.
I did
What-
get that impression. He seemed like
Okay.
a bit of a prankster.
So are you familiar with who this person is?
I am.
Were they part of your community here at one point?
Oh no, no. No, they would never tie themselves down so directly.
They seem to have taken a particular interest in us, and I can't for the life of me understand why.
I expect because you saw them. You're blessed.
They didn't.
It's hardly as fun to interfere with people when they don't even realize you're doing it.
Well, they didn't make any attempt to communicate with us. I just don't understand what their motivations are, and I'm curious if you could give us some insight as to why they were.
They are no better than a childhood bully.
I think I understand a little bit.
They're doing it because they think it's fun. That's it. You're looking for like reason. There isn't one. It's because they can, Zigga.
I suppose.
Bit like the church, actually.
Hmm.
Although it is unfortunate that such an individual has the power that they do.
They aren't the only one. I mean, they are the only one who has that particular motivation, but there are others such blessed that would rather rule on their own or not rule at all and act as they wish.
So, the people in your organization, the majority of them are here, or are they scattered around throughout the world?
The people in our commune are here, yes. To suggest that the blessed are one unified group would be fallacious.
Okay. I mean, we just don't have a lot of context for this.
No, not many do when they arrive.
Trying to pick my words precisely as I go. I guess Zigga's just kind of looking for him to prompt more information than what like Zigga's directly dragging out of his mouth, and it doesn't look like he's like at all like he's giving cryptic answers to Zigga's direct prompt, but not giving anything else besides that.
Maybe he's
Is
just
that-
not a very talkative guy.
Or he
Is
doesn't
that the
or he
difference?
doesn't trust you yet.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's fair. Let's see.
I don't think that there's this long of a pause in the game, but
No,
I'm trying to
That's fine.
figure out what my next comment's gonna be.
What season is it right now?
Let's say mid-autumn.
Okay, that seems like it would probably be are they in the middle of harvesting, or is it already after harvesting? They are still working the fields, so
Yeah, it's coming to the end of harvest.
okay,
There's,
got it.
there's not a huge amount to harvest.
Mm-hmm.
They've only got maybe a dozen fields out there.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Short of broaching sensitive topics, I don't know if we have anything else to say.
Perhaps you should broach a sensitive topic.
It's kind of up to the party.
You say do
okay.
it.
Yeah, I want to move the plot along, even if it's like a little bit destructive. I'll start with
A little.
more, I'll start with a more sensitive one. We saw other things that are in I've already forgotten it again. Shawby.
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 Yes.
We saw other things in Shawby as well. Things that other people didn't seem to recognize, such as Mother Argyle and her situation.
His you get the impression that he's trying to narrow his eyes, but they don't quite work like that anymore. And he kind of hones in on you a bit, and it's like, Mother Argyle.
Yes, one of the priestesses at the church.
Yes, I'm familiar. What?
She gave a speech, and she was being carried bodily by two creatures that I can't place, but nobody else seemed to react. Only the four of us could see her as she truly was.
Yes, I believe she was blessed.
What about the creatures that were at her side?
At this, actually, Chauster speaks up, and he slams his fist on the desk and just says, "Profane!"
I definitely did not want to. I didn't want to indicate my thoughts on them until I could gauge y'all's reaction, because I didn't know whether or not y'all approved of it. But I'm glad that I'm not alone in thinking that they were incredibly unnatural.
No, they would sound rather unpleasant. Do you know what became of them?
Yes. We investigated the situation and found out that Mother Argyle was being seemingly body swapped. She had been replaced with one of those creatures, and we were able to track down the lair of the creature and destroy it.
I see. And this is the place where you saw your masked figure.
One of several times that we saw the masked figure, yes.
Very interesting. You
They
certainly are
seem
more resourceful than most who come to here.
We have encountered a lot of unusual things on our time, yes.
Miss B, you were speaking?
Yeah. She said she was gonna respond to the bit about that's one of the places we saw the masked figure. And she says it seemed like he was trying the masked figure, whoever they were, was trying to lead us um to where we found that creature. That's actually the reason we went investigating in that where we found it in the first place. Is because we were following someone.
That, I think, was a test.
A test? Why would they want to do that?
If I know Pure, and I do know Pure reasonably well, your masked figure. I expect they were influencing Mother Argyle in a way, and your interaction was a way of testing strength. Either Argyle won and was worthy, or Argyle lost, Pure cuts their losses, and perhaps moves on to you.
And at that, she kind of grimaces and she says, "Great, all we ever wanted."
I
In a
can't,
very clearly sarcastic tone.
I can't offer you perfect protection here, but this is a safer place than most from her reach.
Okay. Well, we got two things there.
Yep.
Pure and the woman.
You
Okay.
say that she was checking whether Mother Argyle was worthy. Worthy for what?
Oh, some nefarious purpose, I have no doubt.
So
Right.
Pure is a malicious prankster?
Pure enjoys chaos and incivility. Imagine what could have happened if beings such as you have described were unleashed upon the town en masse. It would be anarchy.
B looks at the others, and out of character, this is kind of inviting anyone to stop or to refute me if I'm wrong or if you don't agree. But she says, "I don't think we'd want to. Now that we know this is kind of the situation, I don't think we want to draw Pure's attention here to the village, if possible. So I don't think we'll." We appreciate the offer of protection. I don't think we'll impose for that long. But any information any further information that you have that might help us, um, avoid her attention, uh, or protect ourselves from it, would be much appreciated.
All who are blessed are welcome to stay here if they wish, but if you would rather travel abroad, then that is your decision. As for what may help you against her, she is quite capable, but not infallible, and an opportunity to create a larger distraction may distract her from pursuing you. Whether that is within your ethical boundaries or not is up to you. Her sight is limited. Some warding may help, some protection from scrying, but how much, I do not know.
And B nods and thanks him. Although she does look a little troubled because the alternative he suggested is indeed a little problematic. Just offer her something juicier. It's probably not a great result.
Is Pure the origin of the enchantment that took place over the town that caused a lot of them to forget details?
Oh, I expect
Or
so,
if-
yes.
Okay, because that was astounding, the level of influence that they had. If that was indeed them, like a person was killed in town, and by the next day, no one remembered it.
As I said, she is quite capable. Those who are less capable are more susceptible. Yourself, you'll likely have less issue. I believe part of what she is employing is an amplification of the natural effects of our blessing.
Okay. I really want to bring up the blessing out of character. And I want to try
Right.
to approach it in a way that won't antagonize them necessarily.
Right.
And I'm curious if y'all would be okay with me going ahead and do that.
Then bring up the fact that we are not blessed.
I'm actually going to specifically bring up the fact that we don't know how we're blessed because we haven't manifested any sort of physical symptoms.
Maybe I think that's reasonable, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think that blows our cover per se. I mean, not that we even have cover necessarily, because if we're here, that kind of implies that we deserve to be here. You know.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I'm
You
gonna
can
go
go
ahead and
for
just
it.
do it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
All right, sure.
On that
Get ready.
subject, on that subject, something that we've been kind of uncomfortable about since we arrived in town, is everyone here seems to be physically impacted by the blessing, and none of us are. And we're trying to work our way through understanding how we're able to be here.
You are here because you are blessed. How that manifests is rather immaterial for the most part.
But surely you can understand our confusion, and that we can see everyone here that we've seen so far has physical manifestations of their blessing, and we don't.
Those who aren't obviously affected tend to blend in a little better with the surrounding societies. Those who are here have found less solace.
That's understandable.
Be more of a selection bias than an actual.
Yeah,
Here
I
I
suppose
thought.
that
Here I
makes
thought you.
sense.
I thought you had to had crystal growing out of you to be blessed.
It's a reliable indicator.
Hmm. You any idea where it all comes from? Not the crystal, the blessing.
Oh, every idea.
Oh, great. Could you tell me?
Is it not self-evident?
No, that's that's what
Chris
we've been
Chris
tiptoeing
looks
around.
looks around the
Ziggins,
room.
like that's what we've been tiptoeing around in this entire conversation because we were worried that you were going to become hostile to us if we revealed the fact that we weren't physically blessed, because we assumed that was part of the process. We don't understand anything about what's going on here.
Might be more dangerous.
Yeah, that's why I'm pressing the point a little bit.
Yeah. There is a reason that we were drawn here. There is a reason that there are no children in this commune, and there is a reason that there are no people in this commune who were especially weak a decade ago.
Aha.
He is trying to hide her discomfort.
Not everyone who was touched by that power was killed.
We know. We know.
I know there's a greater degree of meaning under his words that I'm not getting it. I'm not parsing it together. I'm sorry. Out of character, like, I'm not getting it.
It's related to it. Whoever. So the reason there's no children here is because the events of the Mordfur's appearance happened at a point in time. So everyone who was alive at that time and wasn't killed and was in the vicinity, presumably, was quote unquote, or some number of them were blessed, quote unquote, or it has connections to the Mordfur's appearance.
Sure.
And pray tell, you
But that
say
didn't-
that this blessing actually does something. What is it?
Beyond the physical changes, it has a
Yeah.
tendency to alter perception. Hence, now you are here, and the others who walk the road between Shoreby and Agaton are not.
Hmm.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. The inn's new.
Relatively. The path isn't.
Right, exactly. But you can walk down the path anyway.
You can, if you know it's there. Why would you
But the-
strike off into the forest if you didn't?
But the church specifically came here after the incident, and presumably, they're not affected by the blessing.
It does tend to evolve over time somewhat, and with proximity to those who are blessed. We are here. The area is harder to find.
Has the church attempted to come back here in the last 8 months or so since you've been here?
Why would they?
I mean, presumably, they ongoing cleansing efforts or something. I don't know. I'm just.
I believe those efforts were completed within 18 months. The area was deemed hospitable again.
So, does the outside world know that Flaxfeld is a community again?
Oh no.
No. Okay.
No. Not to my knowledge. They did not know of Mother Argyle's creatures. They did not retain the knowledge of those who were killed in Pure's name. It changes perception.
Hmm.
So, if we wanted to gain additional insight as to the nature of this blessing and what it means for us specifically, who would we reach out to?
No one. You would have to find out for yourself, I expect.
Just wait for something new to happen?
Pretty much. There aren't many people who survived contact. You must understand this. Fewer still who survived contact and showed symptoms, and fewer still who survived that showing of symptoms in the first place.
When he's answering, is he visibly guarded, or is he seemingly very, very comfortable with what he's saying?
He's definitely choosing his words, but you get the feeling that he's choosing them to be accurate rather than choosing them to hide information.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess Ziga will turn
Chris-
to the rest of the group.
Chris
and,
looks else at Chris Zigger and is like, "Is there anything else you need to ask him?"
Well, I'm curious. Do you have any questions of us as four strangers just coming to town, asking a whole bunch of questions and claiming to have, met several people that are heavily involved? Like, you don't seem curious with us.
Oh, I wouldn't want to pry into the lives of members of people outside our community. Your lives are your own. I assume if you had any especially pertinent information, you would share it freely.
Yeah, I'm just.
Pertinent. Well, I mean,
It's
I don't know.
just.
We had a bunch of blokes walk up to us while we were on the road north and tell us they're looking for you essentially.
That makes
Don't know how
sense.
pertinent that actually is for you.
It
Actually,
They're
is
church knights. They were coming from Christ. Is it Agaton
Agaton,
on the left?
yeah.
They were coming from
It's-
Agaton, heading over to Shoreby. They told us to look out for people with like black coral on them or something.
Given what
Speaking of
happened
which,
with Argyle,
we-
that's probably to be expected.
can
So-
we get a name for? And he'll gesture to like Chorster's jaw. Like, what is this?
It is the blessing.
But beyond just a generic term, what is it? Like, what is the physical properties of it? What do you call it?
We
Beyond just the
Call
blessing?
it the blessing. It is, for all we can tell, mineral. It grows from us. It repairs somewhat if it is damaged. You don't
I mean,
want to break it off.
So it acts as though it's organic, even though it's more mineral. Like is it regenerative roughly in the same properties as like a human normally regenerates? Like normal
Roughly,
organic?
yes. Yes. If you were to flake some off of an arm, then it would retain its function and rough shape. If you were to snap the whole arm off, that would be rather more permanent.
Is-
Does the growth in the tree stump in the square, does that serve any purpose? I don't think we've seen any that wasn't part of a person's blessing before.
That is our dear saint's doing. He has found a way to segue his normal font of power towards more directly healing afflictions of the blessing and encouraging its growth.
Does it actually do anything?
On the tree
Or is it
stump
more-
outside?
Yeah,
Not particularly. It is a symbol more than anything.
I see. That makes sense.
well, I guess we should go camp out. To be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. Let's stop with this nonsense for a bit.
Did she actually say nonsense?
He'll raise an eyebrow with nonsense, but not say a whole lot in response to that. If you are to remain in the area, you should know there are two other independent actors currently in the vicinity, both of which have rejected the society that has rejected them. They go by the Stalker and the Hunter. They have something of a cat and mouse relationship with each other. They tend to stay out of heavily populated areas, but should you run across them, I recommend getting out of their way.
All right. Thanks.
Sure, will do.
Okay. Are they also blessed?
Oh yes.
And okay.
Yeah, they just
Are
didn't
either-
join the commune essentially.
Either one of them on friendly terms with y'all?
Relationships are tense but not openly hostile. We stay away from them, they stay away from us.
Do you expect that they would have any reason to want to harm us?
If you stay out of their way, I expect not.
Okay.
They are more interested in each other than anything else.
Sure.
What caused them to have animosity towards one another?
Oh, I believe the stalker continually steals items of importance from the other.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna wander around to this side of the table,
Mhm.
and he spoke, right? And
Once, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a cracked off piece of thing on the table?
Yes, a very small one.
Chris will like reach out and pick it up.
He's gonna grab your wrist as you do so.
Yeah, mate.
He's gonna-
Imagine like having some sort of physical like disability that causes you to lose parts of your body when you do
It's-
perform like basic tasks, and then you meet a stranger who walks in and starts asking you questions, and then they take the part of your body that fell off. And
Honestly, this is not all that much different from like a hair.
I think it's pretty different.
I don't, but anyway.
I think
Moving
he
on.
thinks
I
it's
mean, that-
pretty different.
Yeah,
He
that's
is-
fine.
He
Yeah,
is
I have looked at him, but like, yes.
he is looking back at you with all the fire of a holy zealot in his eyes. He does not want you to
Right.
take this.
Okay. Chris like rolls up
Beetle-
his sleeve and points at the tattoo and is like, I can actually find out something about this with this. You might be interested in the results.
Master Garrett speaks up and says, I assure you, he is not.
He's not interested in anything about it.
Oh no. He's a man
Ah.
of faith, sir.
That doesn't mean. Chris looks actually bemused at this. It's just like, what? That doesn't mean he has no interest.
It means his questions are not answered by the methods that you might employ. I would ask that you respect our members here.
I mean, Chris has had his arm grabbed. He hasn't taken anything. He's like, I mean, fine.
And then Chaucer's gonna let go of you very slowly.
Yeah, he's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, fine, whatever, mate. It's just like,
Whatevs, bruv.
pretty much. It's like, he looks at Garrett. It's like, are you a man of faith?
I'm a man of community.
Does that mean you might be interested in an answer or not?
I might be if it serves our people.
Sure, it may serve your people. It doesn't hurt anyone. I want to confirm something that I think is true.
I'm sure you do. I have
I'm
nothing.
happy to
I have-
share my confirmation afterwards if
I
you
ha-
want.
I have nothing to give you that can help you, and Saint Chaucer does not wish to give you his remnants.
Sure, whatever, mate.
If you
It's
can-
just-
If you can convince one of the other members to share with you, then I'm sure you can do good work. But it is up to them. Please respect their beliefs and their wishes.
Yeah. And he's just gonna. It's like, well, whatever, and he's just gonna sort of start heading towards the door at this point. I'm gonna go set up camp. You guys are welcome to do whatever.
okay.
When Chris leaves, B will bow her head a little bit to Meister Garrett, and she will say, "I apologize for my brother. He's somewhat scholarly minded. I don't and can be very direct. I don't think he meant any harm."
We don't choose our family.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that, she says with a chuckle.
Chris has wandered out to the thing where the bloke was stood, and it's like, there any fragments here? No.
You're gonna get a brick and just club one of the random villagers.
No, because he was speaking up here, so
He
surely some
was.
is all over it. Is
Yes,
there
you know
fragments?
what? You know what? Yes, there are. There are some. Now, like on the side he was facing.
And he's
Oh,
just
that's
gonna like.
Respectful.
I mean, nah. Like, actually, to be fair, I don't want to piss off Garrett. Like, he looks at the fragments all over the thing, and it's like, This is probably should take
Chris,
though.
can you roll me perception, please?
Sure, he hasn't done anything.
No,
so
I know. That's fine.
yeah.
You feel eyes boring into the back of your head. The door is closed, but you can still feel it.
Oh.
He like speaks like at hearable volume. He's like, "Yeah, I fucking knew you could see." Wanders past.
Inside, the rest of you can see him doing a good attempt at rolling his eyes.
He looks slightly confused, but doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah. And he as he's walking along, he's like, "Everybody fucking lies," and he keeps walking towards the other end of town.
Oh my god, Chris at his most emo.
He's got his AirPods in. He's listening to Puddle of Mud.
Oh no.
No, Chris is gonna wander over to like the sparring ground instead.
Oh yeah, maybe Tulip punched some crystal out of that.
Yeah, exactly my thought process.
Let's fucking go.
There is a bit of black dust on the floor down there. Definitely, it's got a bit of blood and phlegm around it, but
Chris, like, are these two still here?
oh yeah, they're still going at it.
He'll let them finish their round or whatever,
Mhm.
and then like flag one of them down.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
He points at like the dust and it's like, "Does anyone care if I take a small amount of this?"
The fuck for?
Science.
More or less. I'm trying to confirm what it's actually made of.
It's made of me, mate.
Yes, but it's obviously also mineral.
Well, yeah, so's your teeth.
Buddy, if you want to go
Actually,
another round,
no. But anyway,
if you want to go another round, I could like,
no.
probably get, like, a solid mass mass.
It's like, look, I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
neither.
trying to confirm something.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything to you, or I literally am just going to essentially look at it really hard.
Sure.
And he just like,
and as you like kneel down to get some, you can see out of the corner of your eye, he turns to his other guy and does the finger spinning by his ear, crazy person.
it doesn't give a shit. He's just he
Yeah.
like mage hands a piece of it up, prestidigitations the phlegm off it, and
Yeah.
puts it in like a little containery thing.
Sure.
And then thanks very much, like, tips his hat or whatever, and then just wanders off. And as he's wandering back past, like within this bloke's vision, not behind it, he's like, "There, fucking happy," and then carries on walking.
Sure.
And he'll wander, I guess, in this direction. I think I might camp up by the old tower. He
Yeah,
just like wanders over there and starts setting up a tent.
Yeah, that's fair.
Inside the room with Garrett, does it look like his eyes are like following something that that B can't see?
It's very hard to tell because they are
They're probably
very uniform, but
right, okay.
you get the vague hint that he might be. Yeah, they're definitely less fixated on a space that you can identify than they were before.
I see. Okay. And I think B at least, I don't know about Ziga, but B at least would basically wind down the conversation with some pleasantries. Thank both of them for their time, and say that she'll go join the others.
He will nod and say, "Let me know if you reconsider our offer."
We will, for sure.
Wait, what was their offer?
To stay here.
Oh,
Like,
to stay in the community permanently.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically saying
Ziga,
door's still open if you want to join.
Right, yeah.
Ziga is still very transparently not through asking questions, but I'm not I can't think of other questions to ask that won't get the same answers that I've already been given. And so as the rest of the party continues to like slowly make their way out of the room, Ziga is like visibly wanting to continue asking questions, and instead just like kind of resigns himself to pull out the table, pull out his paperwork and everything like that, and just start working on stuff using the table,
Sure.
and just remain in the room.
Garrett's gonna spend a few minutes looking at you expectantly, as if like expecting you to come up with more questions to ask. But after a while, his focus slips away to other matters.
I figure setting up the tent's not going to take an extraordinarily long time, so
Yeah.
I'm going to work until dusk or so.
Sure.
Maybe make a
I'm gonna
earn income or whatever.
take this little fragment of whoever the fuck it is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna true name the shit out of it,
Yeah.
and see if it has the same aberrant, like,
Yes.
little line of text in it. And since I have like the, he will do it this afternoon. If fails, he will literally wake up in the morning and try again. So
Sure.
like, I want to know the answer. There you go. That's a pass.
It does.
It has the same aberrant line of text.
Yes.
Okay, at which point, Chris is going to turn. He's going to finish the stupid thing, finish his ritual and be like, right. And then he's going to turn to literally anyone else, because assumedly it's like, coming up on nighttime by this point, so it
Yep.
takes like 4 hours. Turn to everyone else and be like, I think it's worth checking ourselves with this. And then he's just going to like take a hair, because that will work, right? Hair is
Yeah.
fine. He's gonna like pull a hair off his head, or in fact, fuck it, he'll like pinprick himself and do it with a drop of blood, like whatever. It doesn't really matter, and just do the ritual on his own blood and see if he has this aberrant line of text.
Sure.
Because if we are blessed, then the fuck is going on here? Yeah.
You do not, but you do have something else, kind of like adjacent to it. It feels.
Right.
And it's kind of like contingent on the parental elements.
In what sense? So like, something was weird with my parents?
Yes. And thus
Well,
something is weird with you.
Do I get the impression it's like they passed it down, or it's because they covered me with their body and therefore it went through them before it got to me?
Hard to tell. True naming is a snapshot of whatever they are at the time.
Okay. And my mother was weird, but wasn't my father like kind of regular-ish?
Yeah, your father was like a normal bloke, I think. Who was your
Sure.
father? I think he was a regular bloke.
I think he was like a fighter or something. He was just like a
Yeah.
guy. Like he'll finish what he was doing, look up at everyone else. Actually, is everyone even asleep? That's like 8 hours, and it's probably like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, by the time you're done with this, pretty much everyone else has gone to bed.
It's like finish with it, look up and be like, "Hey, guy." Shit.
Where did the time go?
It's just, I probably shouldn't wake him up for that. And then he'll probably have this crashing wave of holy shit, I should go to sleep.
Yes.
And he's also gonna like, does he still get the sensation he's being watched?
No.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, at which point he'll just go to bed. It's like, okay, it's like 3 in the fucking morning. Sleep.
Sure. While
Now
you were doing that, Zigga, how long are you staying in the hall?
Until dusk. I assume that they have light to work with in the evening.
Oh yeah,
But
they have
once-
candlelight.
Once the natural light goes away, I think he'll go ahead and make his exit.
Sure. Just before you're planning to make your way out, you see most of the people make their way in. Most of the people, or about the same amount of people as you've seen around, anyway. And they all seem to be settling in for an evening of social, like, light drinking and food.
Gotcha. Okay. Well then, yeah. I guess he'll stick around a little bit longer. He'll pack up his supplies, but
Mm.
stick around a little bit longer and make small talk and just kind of get the vibe.
Yeah, it's mostly down to earth, hardworking people who happen to
Holy-
mostly have some form of physical disability.
Holy shit! This is literally what's going on. I literally put ages ago into it. Black Witch's cat smugly stealing food, and this is just perfect timing in the
Yes,
chat.
yes.
No.
That is what's happening right now.
Why is the sixth one? Why is it just eating a black dragon?
No one knows.
It's just like, oh.
Oh,
Oh,
the last
dear.
And
bottom
what's
right one is
going on in the last one? Why is it half a cat and then the other half is curled around the bottom?
it is dimensionally diving through the floor.
It is. Some portal shit going on there.
The middle left one has gone like full wizard mode. Like it's like something out the Secret of Nim, for fuck's sake.
Yes. And the fucking... Is that a Furby in the bottom left?
Oh no,
Is that
it's
a
like a
Furby
guinea pig.
with a big hat?
Who knows?
Let's see
Right.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt with weird cat pictures. It just seemed perfect timing. I like the idea that Tabit is like, well, this fucking idiot's spending ages staring at a piece
Yeah.
of rock in his own
I'm
blood.
gonna go snort some stuff.
I also
Here's
like the
some
idea
cereal.
that Tabit has wandered in, basically demanded food by just looking imperiously at someone, and they're probably like, "Oh, it's Cat," and she's like, "Yes, I am, and I would
Yeah.
thank you not to treat me as a child."
Yeah, pretty much. And they'll give Tabit some food. And they'll put some stew down in front of Zigger and some bread and some ale. And anyone who isn't in the main hall can smell that delicious smell of spiced stew and merriment.
Yeah, Zigga will definitely partake. Have a good meal with people.
Yeah.
Chris is in occult fucking zombie mode essentially, so he doesn't even notice.
Mhm.
What does B do?
B will, after their conversation finishes, she'll go and let, let's see, Chris and Tulip know that she'll go take a look around the fields. And she will actually go and offer to help some of them because she's feeling a little nostalgic.
Lore farming.
Yeah.
Lore farming?
That's you just want an excuse to use law farming.
I mean,
Law
maybe,
farming, please.
maybe.
Could I also lore
Is it a
farm?
cr-
at
is it
this
a
Yes, you
point?
crime?
can.
Is it a
Yeah.
crime to want to use my lore skill?
Boom! That's not bad either.
Yeah. So it's painfully obvious to both of you that like half of the people working in the fields here used to be city folk.
Oh,
And as such, they don't really know the way around the tools.
It's okay.
So you can go around and give them some pointers on how to best apply their implements to the ground and the crops and
lore
Sure, yeah.
farming.
what they're doing.
Gee,
around.
let's go.
She will also physically help some of them if they're okay with that.
Yeah, no, all hands on deck. They're fine with it. Less work for
Yeah.
them, eh?
For sure, yeah.
Tulip will do the same.
She's basically trying, and she'll like at the end of the day when she'll go and eat with everyone else in the hall, and she'll kind of she did genuinely want to help, but she's also trying to figure out like like what these people are kind of like. I assume that was kind of duplicated with what Zigga was doing, so I think I got the explanation generally already, but that's what she was going to do.
You do realize, probably after maybe 2 or 3 mugs of ale, you realize that the people here aren't talking about what they used to do or where they used to be.
Okay.
They are very focused on what's happening now and in the near future.
Sure, yeah. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Focused on the now.
It's very filling. It's quite rustic.
Does it seem like does it even like is there an indication that they are intentionally avoiding that subject as some sort of compulsion, or does it seem like they just naturally just don't like they don't want to talk about it? I'm just wondering if it like comes up peripherally as like a adjacent topic to whatever they're discussing currently. Like, say for instance, in the case of like the farming stuff, like, um, man, man, Leroy, you can't farm for shit. Yeah, well, I used to be a blacksmith or something, like something like it, but like avoiding that specific subject, like, um, does it seem awkward that they're not talking about it?
It seems like, from what you can tell, they're all kind of in a silent agreement in some way not to bring the past up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Without some kind of check or magic or something, you can't really tell whether it's a compulsion or like an enforced social taboo or something like that. But it does seem like people are actively, collectively avoiding talking about it.
I mean, could you do a society roll or something to try and figure out whether it's like a social taboo? Is that
Yeah,
the right role?
that would be a good role for it.
That seems
It's like
reasonable.
if it's a social thing and it like someone almost mentions it, gets the evil eye, and like changes their sentence mid flow, then
Yeah, someone does bring up something like, this is better than the stew that they used to have back in Norhau, and everyone kind of slightly winces at it. Not in like a, oh, you done fucked up now, son. More of a, oh, that's the life we can't lead anymore.
Gotcha.
I see what it's like then, yeah.
Okay.
However,
Yeah, so
Go on.
I just want to ask a quick question of the party out of character. Vibe check at this point, because right now I'm after the conversation we had, even though it was kind of guarded and difficult to parse and everything like that. Like, I'm actually feeling pretty positively predisposed to these people at this point.
they're fine.
Like, they're probably the least unfriendly people that we've come across, except for maybe the university people. But like, even the university people are kind of
They're
Stand
just a group of people who can't live on the outside anymore. That's it.
right. But I mean, like, they're physically a little off-putting, I guess. But they're like, there's absolutely nothing that has come up that like given me red flags
No,
other than their physical ailments.
Well, my biggest concern at the time was whether they were being influenced by the mask figure, but Garrett gave us pretty clear answer on that. So as if that's not the case, I don't see anything wrong with the people here themselves. Like
Yeah.
maybe at some like longer point in the future they'll actually develop into a cult or something, but right now it seems like they're just.
I mean, but even like the sermon, which was probably the most potentially red flag thing, but it was all basically about how, like, the church is persecuting them, which,
yeah, like that's
to be perfectly
understandable.
honest, that's, yeah, I could get that.
So yeah, no, I have I think I'm on the same page as you.
Okay.
They seem like good enough folk.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I was just making sure I wasn't the only one that thought that. Like,
Mm.
I felt comfortable. I was like, Zigga's gonna just like stay here and vibe and then eat the food and, yeah. Yeah, so I guess Zigga's kind of actually down to just chilling and staying in the hall, and he's not going to leave after all. He didn't even realize that this place was going to become like a tavern, after dusk, and I think he's actually going to want to take up Meister Garrett's offer of the communal living arrangements.
Yeah, as people are kind of trickling out, a couple of them will drag a cot out from the back and set it up against one of the walls at the side, near enough the fire that you're not going to get too cold, and enough out of the way that you're not going to be in the way come the morning.
Yeah.
It doesn't afford you a whole lot of privacy, but it's safe and warm.
Yeah. Probably more comfortable than sleeping outside in the ground.
Unless you're Esme.
Look, right?
To be
Listen,
fair, I
I
think
am
it wasn't
sitting
on the
here doing
ground.
nothing. I have done nothing wrong.
Yep. So that's what he'll do.
Did Garrett actually mention? I might have missed this, but did Garrett actually mention where the hunter and the or the stalker and the other person were? Like he said that they weren't part of the commune, but like are they in the close vicinity?
He just said that they were in the area and that they avoided populated areas.
I see.
So
Okay.
if you're not likely to have seen them in Shoreby, you're not likely to see them in Agaton. They'll avoid the commune.
I see. Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, quick question. I meant to ask about it earlier when it came up in the conversation, but the people that came riding up on us and asked us about this, and the people that were
Mhm.
blessed, which I really wish we had a different name for. I don't like calling them blessed in out of character speak. I wish we had a name for that.
I mean, you can come up with a name if you want. That's just what they call themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
maybe
it is very specifically propaganda to
Yeah,
make them
Just call
feel
them-
better
just-
about themselves.
Just call them crystals or something. Whatever.
yeah. I was gonna maybe say crystallized people. But anyways, those people that were hunting them,
Yes.
the writers, what did we get as far as identifying characteristics about those people? Like they're especially maybe a leader.
From the brief time that you spent talking to them, you wouldn't be able to pick out individuals. They were I've forgotten my own fucking panther.
I
now.
honestly don't remember anything about these people at all. Like nothing about the fact that they were on
They were a
horseback.
group.
That's
They were a
all I
group of
remember.
mounted dudes coming from Agaton. They looked like church knights.
Yeah, military church folk. They didn't look like they were out for blood. Probably more out for an arrest.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't like. Were they a specific faction of the church, or were they like because I did a lot of research into the hierarchy of the church and everything
You
like
did,
that.
and
Like,
I've fucking forgotten half of how the church works in the month that I've had to think about it.
I'll be honest with you, Mag. I don't think they were that fleshed out. They were just some dude from the church who were giving us a warning.
okay, well, if that's the case, then that's fine.
They were mid-level Knights of Tritus.
Okay.
Which is not particularly tied to any location. They will have been just some scouting group from slightly higher up the organization that were given orders to try and find someone. that fit
Sure.
that
If I remember
description.
correctly, Tritus is the military, the most militaristic god of the six.
Yes, principal deity of warfare and conflict. Basically the military arm of the church.
Does the church also have like an inquisitor arm?
Not
Then other than like
not explicitly.
okay.
I was gonna say if they do, it probably is not like a visible wing of the church. Like it would be a subvert. Subtle.
It would be, depending on the nature of it, it would probably be made up of higher ups of each of the branches.
Okay.
Because they all cover different aspects of society and life and theology.
Sure. Okay.
If someone's doing some heretical arcane magic, they would get some Quartus people in. If they were, I don't know, fucking up society directly somehow, like ripping people off in a charity or something, which would be antithetical to the religion, that would be more Primus.
Can you remind me the little like tiny piece of red text in the true name, or
Yes.
the aberrant piece? What was that? It was like something monster or something. wasn't
Aberrant
it?
monster.
Aberrant monster.
Yes.
And that was in the ring as well, right?
Yes.
So it's in the ring, and and so far every single piece of this black crystal that I've looked at.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Shut up. Chris is fucking sufficiently distracted until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Realizes everyone's gone into the fucking hall and is like, oh, whatever, and rolls over into his tent.
Fuck it.
Well, I
But I'm
think
not going in
Tulip's
there at
with
this
you.
point.
I'm pretty sure Tulip's with you. I think it's B
I
and
think
Zigga that
Tulip
are in the
wandered
hall.
off to help with the farming, at which point she probably went with B at the end.
Oh no, Tulip
No.
would have come back to the tower.
Oh, fair enough.
Me bitch skip
So
myself.
at least you have
out.
some company.
Well,
Accidentally pissed
Tulip
myself.
has got to be asleep by that point.
Yeah, Tulip's out.
But Tulip also doesn't want to leave Big Brother sleeping on his own in a tent in the village where.
in the
That is
village, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Oh. Oh dear. All right. Does anyone have anything else they do before like the evening passes?
Nope.
Not really.
Nope.
So just as Chris is rolling over to go to bed,
Mm-hmm.
there is a loud half roar, half shriek
Oh Christ.
that rattles the windows of the Great Hall and flutters the tent
The,
fabric.
yeah, the fabric of the tent. yeah.
Yes. And very promptly wakes you all up.
Chris just like he's just laid down and he hears
Yeah.
this, and you just like Tulip gets woken up and she just hears from the other tent. Are you fucking serious?
Like for Chris, it will have been more like a hypnic jerk. Like
Yeah.
when you're falling asleep and it suddenly feels like you're falling, and then you just kind
Yeah.
of spasm awake.
Michael jerk. Yeah.
Alright, Tulip's gonna crawl out the tent to see what's up.
Perception.
Okay.
rolls.
Chris will also like drag himself out of the tent.
Yeah. Not bad.
Boop.
Even better.
Okay.
Is anyone else going to do anything about it before I start describing shit?
Well, yeah, Zigga is probably the first impulse is going to be because he's relatively close to this window, to walk over to the window and look out, and also if Maester Garrett becomes
Oh, did you not stay in the hall
Visible?
either, V?
I think I went there for dinner and probably came back to the tents.
Sure.
okay. If Maester Garrett becomes visible at any point in the next like 20 seconds, he's also going to like look over for some sort of guidance as to what's going on.
Sure. Perception for looking out the window. B, are you looking?
Yep.
Wow. Some decent perception rolls.
Yeah.
Worst rolls are 19. Fucking Christ.
Zigga, you do not see anything out of that window. Everyone else can see to the east a large something, an indeterminate distance away, with what looks like big old bat wings soaring through the air before plummeting like a fucking peregrine falcon towards the ground.
Does it seem like it's doing that on its own power,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like it? Okay.
Can I roll something to recognize what the fuck this is? Like discern monster or whatever the fuck the action
yeah,
is?
roll whatever you would like to try and discern with.
So it's a giant bat thing.
Giant bat-winged humanoid.
It sounds
Well,
like it could.
it's either nature or occult. Like,
It could be a religion if it's. Or actually, I don't know if religion covers demons and stuff like that.
It does.
religion is like the one thing that I can't. I'll roll occultism. Whatever.
I'm mentally picturing a Gliscor.
I've got Googled. Oh, a
I'll be honest with
Gliscor,
you.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I'm picturing the new League character. I shit you not.
Oh no.
Oh.
Have I made
yeah.
a League character?
Kinda.
I don't know. That depends on what this is.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what. I haven't kept up with it. I guess I don't know what league character is.
It is a.
A giant like manta ray humanoid thing with big wings.
Oh my god, that is just a big old bat-based dommy mommy.
Except the head is not a head.
Is it not?
You can see the real eyes, the
Oh.
glowing things.
Oh, I see. It's
It's
fucking
like a big anglerfish
and
thing.
it just fucking ate me. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's
Yeah,
a.
you can kind of see the drool coming off the teeth in the middle.
off of the boob teeth
Yeah.
and the crotch
Yes.
teeth. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
a very high. It's a pretty high tier void.
Yeah.
thing.
entity. Yeah, that's
would Tulip like to try and identify?
I don't know what she could. I don't know.
nature, religion.
If you want, you don't have to try. If you do want to try, pick something you think would help you identify, and I'll roll with it.
Survival, maybe.
Yeah, I can see an argument. I can see a route there. Okay.
That's not bad.
B, this looks like a demon.
Okay, that's
For
kind of
all-
what I thought.
For all the
Yeah.
seemings, this looks like a very high level demon at that, because most of the low level demons are like fucking goblin ass motherfuckers gribbling around or whatever. But this guy
Where?
is humanoid and winged.
Yeah. Where did it land? Like, did it land like right here or like
No.
further?
No, it landed fucking miles away.
Oh, okay. So
It
it's
landed
quite far.
way out.
We saw it in this direction, in the east.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was wrong on that. In the west.
Oh,
No,
it's west.
I can't do direction. Never ask me to navigate somewhere.
And is that the same with occultism? Do I get much the same?
Occultism, you're fairly sure it's some form of aberration.
Sure.
Survival, Tulip, you don't really know what it is, but it's really far away and still looks quite big. So you probably don't want to fight it.
Aw.
You don't know what it is, but you know what it isn't.
you-
Your friend.
Yes, you know it's bad news. This is like you've tuned into fight or flight a bit there, and that is probably not a fight for most people. It might be for Tulip. It's
I mean, I wanna go see what it is. Maybe it's not hostile. It's. A
I don't know if we want to go see what it is.
So Chris like pokes his head out the tent, looks up at it. He's woken up by it, looks at it, watches it land, and it's like, that's far enough away. I need to sleep, and just goes back in
Yeah.
the tent.
that's reasonable. Like to give an idea of like scale, you know how the moon looks really big when you look at it with your eyes, but tiny on a photograph because it's fucking miles away.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of effect, but it's quite a bit smaller than the moon, but also quite a bit closer.
Cool. Should we
As
tell?
carry on.
Should we tell the boys what's going on, or do we want to not incite panic?
As to that, Zigga sees Meister Garrett shuffle out of a back room in a big old nightgown, looking rather fed up. He goes to the front door, takes a look out, huffs, turns around, shuffles back towards his bedroom, and then as he passes by Zigga, he leans over and says, "The hunter's hunting tonight."
Well, that's the hunter then, huh?
Holy shit! It's Belveth.
Wow. Well, maybe the hunter like shot it down. We don't know.
No,
No,
well,
he's saying
yeah,
explicitly
bees-
that is the hunter.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but like, there's a possibility. Well, maybe I don't know.
I think he knows the hunter personally. Like they've probably actually met before.
hmm
So I guess we're just gonna
Zigga
ignore
will-
that.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that, but
Is the window open?
It can be opened.
Okay. Zigga's just gonna
Wake everybody up.
no. He's gonna take a piece of paper, and write down the words "the hunter," and open the window and throw it like a paper airplane at the at the party, and then go back to sleep.
How far is this paper airplane gonna reach?
That's 35 feet. That's not too far.
yeah, if it's not too windy, it's if it's
Roll
not
for
windy. Then
athletics. That'd be
Yeah.
so
The
stupid.
Guinness Book of World Records floor-to-floor paper airplane flight is 70 meters.
Yeah,
So-
70 meters is a fuck ton
think you
longer
can do
than 35
30.
feet.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna say that you can get it far enough that B doesn't have, or Tulip or whoever's gonna pick it up doesn't have to walk to the house to get it.
Mhm.
But paper airplanes aren't the most gainly thing in the world.
Sure.
So
She-
yeah,
she
it-
might-
I think the real issue is that this is uphill. Right? Isn't the tower on a hill?
A little bit, yeah.
if
But
she
yeah,
sees-
anyway.
if
Let's
she
say it gets
sees
to, like,
anything, B
there.
will. Yeah, if she sees anything, B will go over and pick it up, read it,
Yeah.
go back to share with Tulip because Chris has already gone back to
Chris
bed.
went the fuck back. Like as he clambered back into his tent, he was like, "There's some really weird shit going on with True Names, but I need to sleep. I'll talk to you later." And just literally just bonk.
Yeah, so she'll tell Tulip. And if Ziga wasn't particularly concerned, there's probably a reason for that. So she'll shrug and say, we can ask about it in the morning. It doesn't sound like it either doesn't sound like it's a big deal or it sounds like it's happened before.
I guess, yeah.
And based on what they said, what Meister Garrett said before, we don't exactly want to go near them, I think.
No.
Cool. I guess we're just pretending that never happened then.
Yep, for now.
Garrett did say that the area was reasonably protected, and that the hunter probably wouldn't come, or the others probably wouldn't come near. I think it was specifically pure, but the implication is that it's fairly safe.
Right.
Okay. Well, back to sleep we go.
We fast forward to morning.
Yeah.
Doodle-loo-loo.
It's a bit of a rough night. You're a little bit worried, but
No, Chris fell the fuck asleep.
yeah, no, except for Chris, because Chris exhausted himself doing magic.
Dead to the fucking world. Like
Mm.
wakes up at like I don't know 11:30 and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that was the worst.
You wake up in the late morning with Tabit on your face.
Yeah, he
Um,
like just groggily like reaches out and lifts Tabbit off him.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't help.
anyone who's awake for maybe 7:30ish can have dinner in the hall or breakfast in the hall.
Sure, yeah. Early rising is
Yeah.
still a thing. Didn't go to sleep that late.
Chris is probably just about in time for lunch.
Chris like takes out some jerky or something and just like stumbles his way down the hill. It's oh my god, magic is the fucking worst. Why did I do this shit? He just wanders into town.
I could have been a rogue, I could have been a bard, but no, I had to follow
What?
my mum's footsteps.
Why did I listen to mum instead of dad? Hitting things is much fucking easier. He's just mumbling this as he wanders through town with his cat like basically in the brim of his hat, I think, at this point, because he put her in the wrong place and she doesn't care enough. And he's just wandering along. Oh my god, why do I do this?
You've got a hunchback because Tabit's up under your shirt, over your shoulders, because you did everything in the wrong order this morning.
No. Tabbit's in the brim of his hat.
No, Tabit's under his hat.
Oh yeah, sure, why not?
You've got a
It's just
little
a sleep.
window at the front of your
Oh,
hat
that-
for
yeah.
Tabit to stick her head out of.
Tabbit doesn't give a
In-
shit. She's like, yeah, he's that sleepy this morning.
Yeah.
And he wanders into the. Where is everyone else? Are they all having lunch?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Lunch sounds good.
Yep.
Sure, so everyone's in the main hall. He just sort of wanders in. And he's the only one who didn't drink mead, but he looks the most drunk.
Yeah. Everyone but Chris, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Okay.
Eh,
We can count backwards.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
Definitely
okay.
can't count backwards.
Everyone in the hall, and it seems like most people are in the hall again. Most meals do seem to be communal. Everyone, as he comes in, is giving him a mixture of sympathetic and slightly judgy looks.
It's like eating a piece of jerky, oblivious to the looks, and wanders over. It's like, my god, magic is the worst.
Who rolled high? Zigger. Across the table, on the other side of the hall, you can see someone roll their eyes to someone else, mouth the word magic, and then mime drinking.
I'll be honest with you. If they don't believe the dude with the giant witch hat, glowing arcane tattoos, and literal cat familiar is doing magic, what the fuck?
Oh, they probably believe you're doing magic. They probably think you're just using it as an excuse to be a drunkard.
I was gonna say the wizard's over there doing some alchomancy.
Yeah. Fucking Chris the
Alcohol
narco
mancy.
alchemist here.
Yeah, fucking hell. He sits
I'll-
down and is like, okay, I'm with you. Right.
And also, to be fair, I could probably get a big hat and a cat, and in you could probably
Talking
have
one?
someone. It's a fancy voice box thing that you put on there.
Yeah,
collar.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
you get magical tattoos of like radial speak with animal,
Oh my fucking god.
and then it's like
Right.
the perfect
Anyway,
Chris cosplay.
There is a ventriloquist spell that I'm planning on taking next level.
He
that you can
probably
do
he
that with.
probably sits down, like thinks for a moment, and then realizes Tabbit is under his hat, and like lifts his hat up and removes the cat from his head, and then puts the hat back down again.
Tabbit climbs into Tulip's lap.
Ah, bloody
Tulip
little
pets.
traitor.
Tabbit knows where to get the pets.
Yeah.
Yes,
She
yes.
gets the pets.
So, what are we doing today?
Maybe trying to figure out the fuck off big thing that was flapping around. Maybe get a
Oh,
little bit
it's
more information on that.
like Chris looks at you like it's just some form of big aberration. It's like a
I think he
in the
looks more like
same family of creature as the things that were at Mother Argyle's.
I don't know. You look more like a demon to me.
Okay, so we're just gonna ignore it, or
Well,
Right,
it's
do
so
you
far
want to
beyond our
come into
pay grade.
contact with it?
kind of, but like I'm a barbarian.
It's so far out of our pay grade that I don't think there's any. I think it's something to be actively avoided, like a natural disaster.
I love the self-awareness of I'm just a barbarian.
Like, I just want to go see shit. I just want to go see if I can fight it and get out. Right? I'm just saying, like, I gotta live up to my namesake.
Fight and run the world.
Yeah. Tulips are famous for being pugilists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the other question is how long we plan on staying in the village, because I know we're not planning on staying permanently. Did we have anything else we want to investigate here?
I think that, I mean, the impression that I got is that Meister Garrett was specifically avoiding giving us a quest for like he seemed intrigued by us dealing with the Mother Argyle situation, but like specifically avoided giving us a task to do.
I mean, I think
Um,
he's trying to avoid interfering with outsiders, because he did say, when you asked him if he wanted to ask any questions about us, he didn't want to do that. So I think it was
Right.
kind of along the same lines there.
So, I mean, we once again are kind of aimless. And so, like, we could continue on to Agerton. The goal of, like, the initial goal of us being here in the first place was to check the Wizard's Tower, but it looks like that's kind of a bust.
As far as B is concerned, we were heading to Agerton the entire time. This is more of a rest stop to look at things.
Yeah. I mean, were you headed to Agerton for any specific purpose, or just because it was the next town on the circuit?
Because it's a big town.
It's a big town, and you wanted to get the hell out of Dodge after what happened with Argyle.
Yes.
Which is
Also,
the
it
same
does-
way,
it-
like, we wanted to get the hell out of the last town that we had the chancellor, or the bishop, or whatever.
It does take us closer to the birthplace of the person who is now a ring. That's the bottom left town, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah. And then there's also the site. that is-
Yeah, the place. I mean, for his part, Crystal once he is in the land of the living again, he'll be like, I mean, I don't mind when we leave, but I need to have a chat with Garrett. Hi, again before we do. Like,
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'd like to do that as well. So, and once breakfast is completed and everybody goes about their business, and we have an opportunity to speak with Garrett alone, yeah, I mean, I guess we could have that conversation and then go ahead and head out.
Actually, before lunch is concluded, Meister Garrett will come over and say, Master Zigger, Chris, Miss B, Tulip, could I have a word with you after lunch?
I was going to ask you the same thing, actually.
Fantastic. Once everyone is about their business,
Sure.
he'll go back to his seat and finish his meal.
Yeah, we'll wait for everyone to leave,
Yeah,
assumedly, and
yeah,
then
after about another
conversation.
15 minutes or so, everyone else will go about their agricultural day. And Garrett will motion you forward.
Okay, we'll come over and join.
Yeah, Chris will wander over to the big table or whatever it is that they sit at,
Mm.
and he'll fish into his backpack and take out the little vial or whatever it is that he's got the piece of black crystal in it, and put that down on the table. So click, and then he'll unscrew the ring from his finger and put that on the table as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I need to talk to you lot about this. Points at the crystal, and this points at the ring. He holds up the ring first, and it's like, does this thing mean anything to you?
No, but it doesn't seem good.
Chris sort of looks at it. It's like, I'm not really sure, to be completely honest with you. I'm keeping it with me because it's different. And he puts it back on the table, and he holds up this. This does mean something to you.
Yes.
Points at the crystal. So, as you know, I think I got permission from the bloke one of the blokes who uses your pugilist mat or whatever you want to
young
call
Joseph.
it. Yeah, sure. So I took a look at this, and this behaves in the same way as this. He points at the ring. They both, how do you say, insert themselves into your real name. Are you familiar with the concept of a true name?
No, not at all.
Right, okay. Sure. So basically, it's kind of an absolute descriptor of you. It's a... What's the best way to put it? I need to actually see that document you posted, but I think absolute descriptor is
pretty much
reasonably correct. It's what the world sees you as, not subjectively, but objectively. It's you.
I see.
It is you.
Okay.
So I have some small ability to discern these things, and as far as I can tell, this crystal, or whatever you want to call it, your blessing, I think you call it,
Yes.
it inserts itself, or I don't know if it is what's doing it, but it has been inserted, or something has been inserted because of it, into your true name. And it's not anything I've ever seen. And I've been looking at these things, and my mother was looking at these things before I was born, and she would have told me the same thing, I'm pretty certain. So it injects itself, and I would imagine that's what's causing your differences, because your name doesn't quite fit in the normal convention of things, and so maybe it makes it harder for people with regular names to interact with you. That would be my best guess as to what's going on. I could be wrong. It's just a educated maybe.
That seems like a reasonable explanation if what you say is true.
Yeah, the words for it aren't flattering. I'll put it that way. Normally, in your true name, it's just, you were born here, your parents were this, you are of this race, you're very clinical, I think you could call it, maybe. This does not say that. I can tell you if you want, but it's not nice, and I don't want to upset anyone.
Who decides upon the words?
No one. They're just there. They just are. We all have it. Like, you have to know how to understand it, but the words just are. Like, I don't choose them. It's why I'm so confused by this injection. Like, it's not even in the right place, really.
And what does this mean for us?
Mm, it could mean any number of things, to be honest with you. Like, the descriptor is... Alright, fine. The descriptor itself translates to aberrant. And
Big eyebrow raise.
yeah, I know.
I thought you would be more understanding of our plight.
It's not. Hey, that's not me. That's just what it says. And to be honest with you, I looked at myself because I was interested. You'd say, not everyone displays it physically, right? So I took a look at my own, which I haven't done before, actually. And for my part, it's not where yours is. My injection is contingent on, I'm going to call it that, is contingent on my parents. So, I don't know, maybe it's because I wasn't exposed directly to it. My mum and dad covered me. So maybe it went through them, and that's why we don't have, points to everyone else, physical manifestations.
Perhaps.
So I don't, I'm not saying I'm normal, because I'm not, clearly. Tip that flicks his hat. Right? Like, I'm not, and nor are the rest of us, I don't think. But I haven't checked them, truthfully. They were, I think, asleep by that point. It takes a while. So out of character, Tom.
Yes.
Do I have any idea what, like, changing your true name actually does to someone? Or do I have any idea how you would even do that?
So changing your true name changes if your true nature changes, which is just something that happens over time sometimes, but also can be forced upon you. And changing your true name changes your true nature, so it goes both ways. Changing your true name, though, that is not a normal thing. That is super weird.
Sure. So he's saying, what does this mean for us? Can I give him any actual answer to that?
No.
Can I extrapolate anything as to what it might actually do?
I mean, what it would do is what it evidently has done, in that it has caused them to become crystallized in some way.
Right.
That would be the effect of that change.
Sure.
As far as you are aware.
Sure. I mean, at which point he'll basically just respond with, in terms of what it actually means for you, whatever it was, it's changed fundamentally who you are. As far as the world is, the universe, whatever you want to call it, as far as here is concerned, your nature has changed, seemingly permanently. I don't know. You can change your true name over time, but you need to change yourself to do so. Just thought you might be interested. I was also hoping you might know something about this. And he holds up the ring and is like, this has been bugging me for a while. Astonishingly, a ring shouldn't have a person's name.
If it is linked to our blessing, then likely whoever made that change is blessed, I would assume.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, for what it's worth, this person, and he points at the ring, is from, and they will say the name of the town. I honestly can't remember it.
That's quite a way away from the normal area of effect.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, that's what that's what I was trying to find out. And he looks at Chaucer and is like, "Sorry, I didn't mean to piss you off the other day, mate." It just turns back to Garrett.
Chaucer gives you a very done look. but doesn't like fight you over it or anything. He's got more important shit to get on with.
Oh.
You've given me a lot to think about, Master Chris.
Sure. Hopefully nothing too bad.
Nothing material, I think. We are as we are.
Yeah, but sometimes it's important to know why. I don't know. I like knowing the why anyway.
Master Zigger, you had something to say?
No, I was actually did I didn't think I had anything to say. I was actually curious what you would originally call this over for.
I thought out of character. I thought you said you wanted to talk to him about something.
I vaguely remember saying that too, but I don't remember what it was in reference to.
Cool. We'll ignore that then. I've been doing some thinking about yourselves. You came here for a reason. That reason being you spent your early lives here, yes?
Pretty much. We were coming home.
This farmstead was your parents, your family's efforts.
Home. Yeah.
They created the place.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sure it can't be comfortable to see it co-opted as it is.
Honestly, it's better than it just being a graveyard.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like I honestly I'm totally comfortable with what y'all have done with the place.
I'm glad you approve. I will admit it isn't perfect for us. It isn't particularly defensible should anything happen. I was considering an offer to you. There is an old border fort out to the west, which has fallen into disrepair after the blessing events transpired. There was no political or defensive reason to maintain it anymore. But I believe it still stands, and I believe it is somewhat occupied. If you were to deoccupy it, as I believe you are probably capable, then perhaps we could move there, and your old home could be yours again.
Do you know what is currently occupying it?
Not well. I believe there was, at the time, a rather severe fire. And how that has played with the event, I do not know. But no one has wanted to take it since. No one has tried, which means it may well have the same protections as this location.
I mean, my concern is if there is if there's a sentient group of people living there, like I mean, if we're clearing out like you know, oozes or elementals or something like that, like I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but if there's a group of people living there, I'm not going to just clear them out. I
Understandable.
hope you understand.
To my knowledge, there is not, but my knowledge isn't perfect. Finding out would be a great help. I'm sure we could come to an agreement if that were to come to pass.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, we don't mind going over there to look at it, and see what we're dealing with.
Wonderful.
B does look slightly conflicted, but she nods along with the with what Zigga's saying.
If you would rather not take
It's
occupation of somewhere that has such negative memories for you, I would completely understand.
and she shakes her head. She said it's not that. It's just well, Well, honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. It was, and I guess we still think of it as home in a lot of ways, but um, it is rather sudden. Um, but I mean, yeah, like Ziga said was saying, it's not too out of our way to go check it out. So at the very least, we can do that and pass that on to you. So
Wonderful. I look forward to seeing the results.
Sure, why not?
I guess since we're going to be heading out west, in light of what occurred this morning,
Oh yes.
um, can you give us more insight into the hunter?
He really shouldn't cause you any trouble.
Okay.
As long as you stay out of his way, as I said. He is not the type to take up residence in any location for a particularly extended period. He prefers to go on his hunts. If he is in occupation of the fort, which I do not consider to be particularly likely, you should be able to wait him out.
What is he?
He was once a rather decorated warrior, hailing from lands abroad, I understand. These days, sometimes I think he's little more than an animal. He has his quarry, and he hunts them. And that is all he is and all he does.
did something change him to be that way, or?
His blessing, I assume. It is not kind to us all.
Hmm.
You saw what it did to Mother Argyle. You've seen how Pure acts.
Mm-hmm. I suppose you have a point there.
Have you interacted directly with these people? Like, have you ever interacted directly with the hunter, or like, are they sentient?
It's hard to tell. I have been in proximity to the hunter. He recognized me as not his quarry and moved me aside and continued on his way. It did take a month or two to recover from that, but it wasn't quite as final as it certainly could have been.
Hmm.
It's just out of curiosity, since we've been talking to them and like interacting with them for a while. Do we get the impression that Chorster and uh, Garrett are both like capable individuals? And like mechanically, I'm asking, do they have class levels in something? Or are they commoners?
They do not carry themselves as commoners normally do.
Okay.
You haven't seen any explicit, like, class type maneuvers out of them yet, I don't think. But they carry themselves as if they're capable.
Okay. How about everybody else in town? Are they mostly commoners?
Oh, they seem more like commoners, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It takes, because of the kind of discipline it takes to gain a class level, to dedicate yourself to that path. It takes a certain drive a lot of the time to make it happen, or a certain set of circumstances that lead you down the path that would give you that drive.
Right.
And they carry themselves as people who have that within them.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. So I guess since it seems likely that we will at least come in proximity of the hunter, what about the stalker? You mentioned him earlier. Like, what is he like? Or
He's
they?
a little more enigmatic. He comes and goes, and you generally will not notice until you realize something of value is missing. Not necessarily of monetary value, not necessarily of personal value, just something of value will be missing. He takes the most pleasure in goading the hunter. As I say, they have a bit of a cat and mouse relationship.
Something akin to what Pure does with us?
Something like that, rather more targeted.
And I mean, has this rivalry existed for a long, long time? Like, or is this a relatively recent thing?
As long as I've known of them. Few years. 4 or 5 now, I think.
Okay. So, but okay, that makes sense.
The stalker always seems to slip away just before the hunter can catch him. Rather infuriating, I'm sure.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Nope, that seems pretty
No.
straightforward to me. Don't get physically in between the two.
Yeah.
Just like how you don't want to get between a mother bear and her cub, that kind of thing.
Fair enough. Should we get heading towards the place where we'll probably have to kill many boys?
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable idea to me.
You're welcome to rest and prepare as long as you need to.
I think
we would ask that if you do intend to stay here longer than a day or so, that you help out where you can.
Sure, not a problem.
I think Chris might need to catch up on some sleep, but otherwise we should be good.
Very well.
Chris looks at you and is like, "No, I'm good."
Sure,
It's
you
alright.
don't want to take an extra like 15 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, a whole day, you know.
Oh my god! Look, I spent 8 hours trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with this stuff. Leave me be. I was awake at 3. Like I hadn't even fallen asleep when the big bat thing made all the noise. I'm all right. I'm not
Alright.
exactly sure what I can do to help, but whatever.
I mean, if you say so. Yeah, out of character, I think we're probably not needing to do anything else before we go.
Cool.
No.
Okay.
All right. So that's where we'll head next time. Can we go to the world map and just see approximately where it is on the world map? Just to get
Yes,
perspective.
we can. It is somewhere around here.
Oh.
I pinged that. I'm guessing.
I've
Sorry.
put a cross. It's down here.
Okay, that is quite
oh.
okay.
Oh wow,
My
it's miles
goodness,
away.
like- I thought that fish was indicating the place that you were indicating, and I was like, that's nowhere near the border. Why would he call it a border?
Yeah,
thing?
no, it's over here.
I missed the border part then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like we're heading to Agerton first then.
The relative position of that and the site and Flaxfeld may be of note.
It's the same distance roughly.
Then what the fuck happened to Agaton?
Agaton, as was, I believe, described at the time, somewhat protected by the church, similar to how your parents and Angstrom were able to protect part of Flaxfeld.
Right.
But they had a lot more people working at it at a much higher level because it's a major population center.
Right.
This one?
Oh, that got fucked.
Is
That got
where,
gigafucked.
is that where the ring guy?
No,
was?
Ring Boy was from Felabund.
Oh, he's down here.
Further.
Yeah,
That's quite a long way.
quite a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there's like a whole ring of.
The
There wa-
evil
yes.
lake of death.
Yes, there was a whole ring of shit went down, and the entire
Oh,
church
no, no.
spent 18 months fixing it.
Oh no, no. I mean like literally like a circle on the perimeter
Oh
of
right.
where all the blessed people are from. I guess not necessarily
Can you
still there.
draw a circle from center? Is that a thing
You
can
can
do?
make a token with an aura. That's about the best you can
That's
do.
the best you can do, is it? Okay.
No, you can draw a circle. You can draw a circle.
But can you draw it from a center? Oh lord. No, not really. Oh god, I'm just drawing circles everywhere now.
We're all drawing circles.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring a fire token in, because it's a generic token I have. And put it there. And then I need to give it an aura.
Yep.
Radius that.
70
70.
kilometers.
So that's roughly give or take.
What is?
Oh, can you not see it? Shit.
Nope.
Because
I also can't get rid of my own fucking. There we go.
C save.
Yes. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
There are some really funky fish in here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe that's why the merfolk came about. Possibly, maybe, don't know.
It's really
They
interesting
traveled
to
a
me.
fucking long way.
It
Yeah.
looks to me like before you put the aura on there that the vision, like the border wall, the border fort or whatever, was much more physically proximate to the site than Flaxfeld.
Mm.
But then once you put the aura there, then it's like right there on the border for
It's
both.
actually a little further away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this like a ghost town now? This place?
No, in the intervening years, that place has been rebuilt, but it has
Is
been
it-
rebuilt as a new town. Like the whole thing, everyone there died pretty much.
Because it's really fucking close.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
They
Actually,
did not.
don't remember what happened with the bodies. Did they just disintegrate?
They were basically stripped of anything living, which included bacteria, so they didn't decay very quickly. And then the majority of them were buried, or in some cases burnt, where burial would have taken too long.
Yeah, just thinking about that, like you completely annihilate all bacteria and everything in the area, so more can't come to the area unless it's like physically introduced by people traveling around and everything like that, or animals traveling around.
Yeah, or
So it
very,
would take
very slowly
ages.
through the soil and through
Yeah.
various things like that. Yeah, this is why the druids from the church came through and brought everything back up again.
Yes, I mean, short of like a vulture or something like that that was on the outside at the time, then coming inside, like
Yeah, it would have taken decades
Yeah.
to fully recover from that, and it would never have been the same.
Mm.
And
Okay.
given that's like maybe an eighth of the entire fucking country, probably more, it's quite important to fix that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay,
Really?
well, it sounds like we probably ought to head to Agerton first then.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was
Agerton
like
it
due
is.
west. But with it being on the other side of Agerton, yeah, we might as well just go to Agerton first.
Cool. Do you plan on stopping at Agaton for stuff?
It's a fairly big city, I assume so.
Cool. I will
Yeah.
make Agaton then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, probably ought to try to find like work that needs to be done, like adventuring work that we can kind of hopefully parallel, not parallel, like you know what I mean, like work in juxtaposition with, even if it's just busy work.
Mm.
Sure.
We can treat
Because
that.
honestly, like it would be a little bit of a palate cleanser to have like standard adventuring work. Like go clear out this nest of ankegs, or check out this tomb. There's a thing, like just basic normal adventuring stuff, just
Hey,
as a
I
palate cleanser
suspect
from all the
that's the
aberrations.
border
Hey,
post.
hey, Matt, guess what?
Oh, that's what the word is.
Guess what? I heard that feedback 2 sessions ago, and last session, and this session, and have taken it on board and have planned a vaguely normal thing.
Okay, cool. Then I'll stop.
Max like, but I wanna normal, wanna punch thing.
I mean, like I like the intrigue really, but like if it's all intrigue, then
Yeah,
it becomes
I hear you. I hear you. It's fine.
yeah.
I'd probably treat the border crossing the border fort as a ongoing side quest, I guess. We might find something more immediate in Agratan. I don't know what you might have planned.
I suspect the border fort is the normal go punch things quest.
Yeah, that seems fairly reasonable to me. With the side of potential future
Shenanigans. Yeah.
no future like what's the word I'm looking for?
Escort.
No, the word that keeps popping to mind is base building, but like rebuilding the village kind of thing as a base, as a
Mm,
potential thing.
it's
'Cause
definitely
if you-
definitely an option.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do with that personally, but if they were offering to move, I think that was the implication, or that was the offer to us rather.
Pretty much, yeah. If you can clear that place out, then they can move there, and Flaxfeld will be open for occupation.
Yes. So that might be a future hook as well.
Yeah, maybe you could gentrify the area, rent it out, get some nice passive income going.
Man, it's really hard to draw a circle in the way that you need to
Yeah.
do that.
Normally, drawing tools have a draw from center for stuff like that.
So I
But-
guess you have to do.
You have to
So,
estimate
like-
where the corner is of the
Yeah.
circle, I think, and then drag it all the way
Maybe,
across.
like about there, and then like even that is like you can drag it out to about
Holy shit!
the right
like
diameter.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
not,
go you estimate the corner of the circle.
it's not bad, but you never get it right.
Yeah.
Too ripe or not ripe enough yet.
Cool. Well, we will end it there then.
Sounds good.
We're not ready.
It was
Okay.
it was fun and surprisingly less evil afoot.
Yeah. I've got to
than
keep you on your
initially
toes. I can't have you turn into murder hobos, the sign of anything slightly wonky. Oh my god, that was nearly perfect.
Ah, motherfucker! Ree!
I mean, we could have cleansed the town, but
You
that would have
could.
been.
Cleansed, Jesus.
was-
Wait, cleanse? Hang on.
I
Wait a
mean,
minute.
if
Hang on a minute. Wait a minute.
I mean, we could always notify Agratan that they're there.
oh
No,
no,
that would be a genocide. Holy shit.
I'm joking. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like I
that's a
said,
genocide.
I'm actually predisposed to liking these people.
yeah, they seem like decent folk.
Ha!
Still not quite
Yeah.
right.
You got-
See, it's got that thin sliver on the bottom edge there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Good enough.
yeah, pretty close.
God damn.
They don't make
Really?
it easy.
All right, I'm gonna have to head out.
Okay.
Get
Yeah,
over.
all right,
Thank you for playing.
Thank you
Cheers-
for running.
cheers for running, Tom.
See you next week. Oh wait. I may not be available next week. Just as a heads up. I don't know exactly what the plans are, but I've got a friend that's coming into town Friday and Saturday, and they may be leaving Sunday morning. And if they're leaving Sunday morning, we kind of have like this tradition of going to IHOP.
Mm,
Anytime one of us is in town and the other, we're leaving that day. If that's the case, then I won't be here on Sunday, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. one way or the other.
Honestly, that wouldn't be the end of the world. I have a lot of planning to do now.
mm, that is fair.
Okay.
Not so much that I need to take a week off, but it would not be a problem if we did. So
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
keep us appraised, and let's
So I'll
Sure,
just let you know once I know.
sure.
Okay, cool.
Action is a big place.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Cheerio.
Close enough on the circle. I did it.
Close enough.
Are you still doing it? Oh my god.
That was no. That is really. That's within. Oh no, not quite. I can just
It's a-
see.
Yeah, there's a
Sliver on the
tiny,
left
tiny
side.
sliver on the left. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can click on the circle and do alt. You can like move it slightly just using the arrow keys.
Can you? Oh shit.